Hello and welcome to this episode of How to Be a Great GM. As you can see, it's slightly different. We are in actual fact playing a game, and these are my wonderful players who have volunteered to join me. We've got Reginald all the way from Estonia, we've got Simon from Germany, and we've got Stephen from the USA. So thanks, gentlemen, for joining us, or joining me anyway, this evening. Now, if you haven't watched, I made a video on how to prepare a one-shot 4-hour type of game using all of the various videos that I have on the channel. And if you haven't watched that, I suggest you go and watch that so you can see what I had planned, and then you can see what actually unfolds. And there's also a video on how to do the map, which will be coming up in this episode as well. And if you want to look at some map-making techniques there, you can go and check out that video as well. All right, so here we go. Let's start off, before we get any further, with just a basic introduction of your character. So, Reginald, why don't you lead the charge?
Okay, so I am Adim. I am a half-orc, a ranger. Basically, everything about my character, except for his, I suppose, kilt, is brown. He has this pale brown complexion, dark brown hair, hazel eyes, and he's a half-orc. Even though he tries not to give off the impression of a half-orc, he has had his tusks surgically removed and replaced. So overall he makes for a believable, albeit very, very large human.
Simon.
All right, I will be playing Grunch today, a barbarian from the frozen north, out on his quest to record the history as it happens and safeguard it and let it live in the future so it isn't forgotten, the deeds that happened from whomever does heroic or less heroic things.
Perfect. Stephen.
Yep, I'm playing a half-elf druid named Elion. He was a kind of bastard child, I guess unexpected child of a noble elf and a human woman. It didn't work out, so they left him in Sanctuary, and he grew up there under a circle of druids. And they were basically raising him to go out and be one of the sentinels of nature and to cleanse and defend all life as it exists for the greater good, getting rid of any evil or undeath he can find, but also defending life. And also along the way, he's very friendly, and he's kind of excited about his first journey out of Sanctuary as an adventurer.
Perfect. For those of you watching, we have worked out that the three characters already know one another and have journeyed for the past 2 levels together, and that is where we pick up with our story. Right. Would the three of you please make a constitution check for me? The room you're in is pitching from left to right. There is an angry, howling gale without, and the smell of the sea is very strong. Reginald?
7.
7. Simon?
6.
6 for Stephen.
For me.
Grunch is fairly hardy coming from the north, and he had a 15.
15. Your companions, while sitting at the captain's dinner table on board this ship, are looking very green, very unhappy with life, as the ship rocks and pitches from side to side. The drinks on the table slide in sympathy, as does the meat, which is overcooked, smelling of old oil, and perhaps that is what is contributing to your unease. At the head of the table is this large orc captain. He is in charge of the Wind Chaser, the ship that you have commissioned to take you from the Isle of Sanctuary across towards the continent where the dwarves might be found. His name is Orthak Doomblood. He doesn't seem to be concerned by the gale that is howling outside or the creaking, ominous cracking sounds coming from underneath the deck that you are currently on. The only other person at the table with you is a fair looking, very beautiful Sajet female. Her elvish almond eyes darkened with black coal to make them look even bigger than they actually are. She is also looking a little bit green, even though she tries to hide it, and has not touched any of the food that is in front of her. You have been at sea for 4 days now, and it has been this unrelenting gale and storm preventing you, I should say, from being able to go up on deck and actually get fresh air.
What is this, Ilian? I thought you were a druid at heart, and you get a green face just from a bit of wind? This is good news, I tell you. No wind would mean no speed, which would mean we would sit here in the sea for who knows how long.
I'm gonna take your. I'll take your word for it.
You're eating that?
No.
All right.
What animal is that?
I don't know. It smells tangy. I like it.
You speak like you are a true sailor, sir, says the orcish captain. This is a minor breeze. It is nothing to be concerned about. The ship is built like it's built like a very well-built thing. Let's just put it that way. We have at least another week to go before we reach land, so I suggest you get used to this rocking motion.
A week?
Yes, a week. If the wind holds, which I trust it will. The woman at the edge of the table takes a sip of the water that's placed in front of her. And Elion, you feel a foot brushing against your calf.
I look to see whose foot it is.
Oh, quickly she pulls her foot back and she kind of flushes and looks away and carries on drinking her water.
I'm sorry. The ship is rocking. I am losing my seating here. Excuse me.
She sort of blushes slightly. The two of you that are sitting there see her blushing quite deeply. She flushes a sort of olive color. No. It was my foot that slipped. I apologize. Please make no mention of it further.
Very well. And can I see how friendly? Can I insight check her in some way, like
Sure.
find her intention?
Sure.
Okay. I just want to be sure. I'm very trusting of people, but I have a very good read of people as well. Usually, until you roll an 8.
There we go.
So I rolled.
You are
I rolled
ill.
a total
You're
of 11.
You're
Yeah,
ill
that's
in your
true.
defense.
Yes.
Sure.
Grunch, you and the captain can chat about the weather and the course that the ship is taking, but the dinner slowly starts to wind down. The captain has gorged himself on the meats and things. The two of you may have not necessarily eaten as much as perhaps you should have. But eventually the captain rises. If you'll excuse me, I must attend to the ship. Your quarters are just down the corridor. There's a small room where there are 3 hammocks set up. You know the way. You've now obviously been here for a couple of days.
What are the chances of there being, let's say, fresh berries on the ship?
You look at the remains of the dinner, and there's some very sad-looking, very boiled berries and things that were used amongst the meat. But anything else more fresh, you'd have to go and ask the chef.
I would like to do that.
All right.
I'm totally going with them.
The Sajet female rises. She watches where you two are heading. Grunch, what are you doing?
I would like to follow the captain and inquisite him a little bit more about what he has lived through and where he has been before and what these places are like.
All right. Certainly. Okay, so the two of you are heading to the chef area. It's not hard to find. The ship is not a very big ship at all. You barge in. The chef is this large human, very, very overweight, wearing practically nothing but a loincloth, and is busy sort of hacking into chunks of meat. Looks over at the two of you. Are you here to complain about tonight's dinner? He says, holding a cleaver.
I whispered to Elion, listen, you're the diplomatic one here. Get us some berries, and we will be set for the next week, unless you want to, eat that thing again.
You're right. Sir, we're sorry to intrude. You do a great work. However, we were seeking more green items of... Do you have any food that doesn't bleed profusely onto the plate and table around it?
What, you mean like
Perhaps.
vegetables?
Yes, precisely vegetables.
Oh, you're an elf. Yeah, all right, I understand that. Yeah.
And he's a human. I point over to him.
Human, right here.
He's a very big human, if you ask me. I'm not judging. All right. He sort of looks around. He lifts up some meat, moves some stuff around. Hang on, I might have something. I know the... Yeah, all right, I'll be back. How fresh does it need to be?
Oh, not fresh at all for me. Adim?
Anything not prepared yet would suffice.
Oh, all right, yeah, all right. You just go wait in the captain's dining room. Then I'll bring you some fresh produce. Then.
Great.
All right.
Let's go.
I do this little bow and leave.
All right. The two of you heading back to the dining room. Simon, you following the captain. You're the leader of that ragtag bunch, are you?
Leader. I wouldn't really see myself as a leader. I'm more of a surveyor, observer.
But you are a barbarian, and that other one is a half-elf, and admittedly the dark one is bigger, but surely you have better company to keep.
I'm not here for company. I'm here for stories. Now, you look like a person who have sailed the seas for quite some time. Must have been to interesting places. What can you tell me about the shores you have visited?
Well, now that is a long story. But I've got a keg of rum in my quarters, and an happy ear to listen to my stories is always welcome.
Now, that sounds like a plan.
Good. Then you will join me. We will regale one another with tales of daring and adventure, whilst getting drunk.
Most splendid day I could imagine.
Excellent. So you go up to the captain. Everyone needs to make a perception check for me, please.
11.
Elian rolled a 20.
21.
21. Wow. All right. The two of you, Reginald and Stephen, your two characters hear above the sound of the water crashing on the side of the ship, you hear a chanting sound. It appears to be coming from the deck above you, which would be part of the aft castle of the ship where the steering controls are.
Okay. This is definitely interesting. I'm gonna look to Adim and say, "Do you hear that as well?"
Question: How high are the how high is the ceiling?
From you here in this small room, the ceiling is about a foot above you, if that. It's not a very high ceiling at all.
Okay.
But then you know that there's decking in between you and the level above.
Mm-hmm. I try and press my ear, if it's possible.
Sure.
I'm quite tall. I will press my ear against the ceiling and listen.
Okay, so you climb up on the table, and then you can easily press your ear to the surface. Give me an Arcana check, please.
Which would be 12.
12. Someone is definitely casting a ritual of some kind, but you're not entirely sure what it is that they are doing other than that.
Someone's casting something over there. You know anything about that?
That's interesting. I've never been on a ship before, but I can't imagine they usually require spells of arcane nature. Did he come out with any vegetables yet?
Nothing
I
yet.
look around.
I
Maybe
get
we
off
have a
the
moment.
table just in case.
Yeah. Maybe we have a moment to maybe take a peek at what's going on. Could be interesting.
I'm up for it.
All right.
Let's go.
Grunch, you are in the captain's quarters, and the captain is busy pouring rum into a tankard for you.
Ah.
I have a...
So, Captain, tell me again.
Yes.
What was this wench you kind of met in this bar? That sounds super interesting.
I think that whilst you might be able to talk the seaman's language, you can't hold your alcohol very well. I said it was 3 wenches that I met in a bar. 3.
3!
3.
3.
Yes. Speaking of wenches, that Surjet woman that you brought with you, she's very strange.
Yeah, she has these ears.
Yeah. Anyway,
What is it about her that intrigues you? I think she likes the green leaf that is with us.
Well, just that seems strange for a Surjet to be traveling with the half-elf, considering the animosity between their people. And yet she seems quite happy with him, doesn't she?
I mean, what can I tell? Love is blind. I'm not here to judge.
That's very, very wise of you, actually. Yes, very wise of you. Only I think she signed in with a false name. What's her real name?
Would I know her real
Nope,
name?
you've never met her before. The first time you saw her was when you went on board the ship.
Alright. Didn't ask. Thought she was with him. The elf.
Oh, I see. Well, you never know. Yeah, have more alcohol.
Oh, yes.
All right. The two of you're going to make your way out onto deck.
As stealthily as possible. And don't really know what to expect up there after storms and
Sure. It still sounds like the storm's going. So,
oh yeah, very cautiously. Cautiously.
Who's opening the door to leave from the crew area out onto the deck?
Me, I suppose.
Yes. All right. As you open the door slightly, you just lift the latch off of the hook. The door swings open, and this torrent of rainwater just gushes in, completely soaking you. And there's sort of flashes of lightning illuminate the deck, and you can see 1 or 2 figures running from side to side as they're trying to tie down ropes and secure barrels and things. It looks like the storm outside is massive, dark green waves crashing about the ship. And yet now you can hear them
amazing.
chanting even more.
Is the chanting right, like, above me?
Yes, it sounds like it's directly above you. You know from the layout of the ship when you boarded it that there's a set of stairs that run on either side of the door that you're coming out of. They run back over you and up onto the next level.
Okay, so I grab hold of the stairs,
Sure.
if that's possible,
Yes, they're wet
and holding an iron grip as well as I can, I begin to make my way up the stairs, trying my best not to slip and fall off the ship.
Perfect. Elion, are you following?
Yes, I'm following closely, just wide-eyed and amazed and slightly sick.
Yes. What you see when you now start to come up the stairs is that the entire ocean just looks to be this mountain range that's continuously collapsing in on itself. The ship is just sort of bobbing up and down. It almost as if no one's controlling where the ship is going. None of the sails are down; they're all up. The sea spray it just gets into everywhere almost instantly. It just feels like you're covered in sort of salt. You make your way very cautiously to the top of the stairs, and although the ship is pitching from side to side and there's all of this water everywhere, there are plenty of handholds around for you to hold on to. As you get level with the top of the deck, you see that there is one sailor who's bravely holding on to the large steering wheel of the ship. And he doesn't seem to be steering in any particular direction. He just seems to be holding it so that it doesn't rotate wildly, causing the ship to pitch in the wrong direction. Every now and again, he tries to pull it so that the ship faces into an oncoming wave, but he doesn't pay you any attention whatsoever. Behind him, just as the ship closes off to the back of the ship, there is a female figure hunched down, and her hands have this small glowing green orb inside of it. And she's the one who's chanting. It's the Sajet female. You can see her eyes. It looks as if she hasn't slept in years because all of that black makeup that they place around their eyes has run down her cheeks, giving her quite an ominous appearance. She hasn't noticed you either.
Can I tell if this is a natural druidic incantation at all, or ritual?
This is definitely not druidic in the slightest. You can hear arcane words that she's speaking. She's evoking some kind of magical energy. This is not divine or natural in any way.
I step forward, kind of holding onto the railing, both sides with my back to the sea, holding on as tightly as I can, and I call out through the rain and the waves, and I call, Miss, what is happening? What are you doing up here? It's dangerous. You should be below deck with everyone else. I call out to her.
Sure. All that she does in response to that is she closes her hands together, and it looks as if she takes whatever's in her hands and she sort of sucks it into herself. And then she looks up at you with her wet hair and wet features. She sees that it's you and she gives you a smile. Yeah, quite a broad smile.
Back.
Yeah, it's like, all right. Adim, you notice one of the waves seems to be cresting quite higher than the rest. The rest have all been at sort of ship height, but there's one that's approaching that seems to be double that height. Are you doing anything?
I am. How far is Elian from me?
15 feet, no more.
15 feet. I attempt to grab him, like with one hand, and hold him, and I yell wave. And with my other hand, I try and grab hold of the sturdiest thing I can see that might support us.
Yeah. Okay, you're not going to, Elian, you're not going to prevent him from grabbing hold of you, are you?
Oh no, and I was enamored at first with the
Right.
smile. Again, just kind of a little flustered. But as he says wave, turn towards it, and I see this wave towering over, and I just loop into the railing and grab hold of him
All right.
to make us as small as possible.
All right. The wave comes bearing down on the ship and just slams onto the deck, onto both of you. You anticipated its approach, you anticipated its arrival, but you could not anticipate just how heavy the impact was of the water. I need you both to give me a combined strength roll. You have advantage here, so you can roll 2d20 on that. Combined strength roll of over 24.
1 moment.
So
All right, I rolled a. I'm not very strong. I rolled a 15 minus 1 is 14.
14. So that means you need to get at least 10, Adim.
Yep.
This may be a short adventure.
Natural 20.
A
At least it's
natural
wet.
20. Okay. So with your arms kind of interlocked and roped together, this water threatens to pull you off of the ship, but you just hold on and grip one another. The water then sucks back off of the ship as the ship bursts out of the waves. But even that just sort of pressures you against the railing that you're holding on to. And eventually it all kind of drains away. The sailor at the wheel, he's screaming out in pain because you realize that what happened was his arm went through one of the spokes of the wheel and the whole wheel has just turned sideways, bearing his arm into the entrance area of the wheel and the deck itself. So he's busy screaming out. The Sajet elf, she is busy, she's piled against the railing about 7 feet away from you, and you can see she's actually slipped off the side of the ship and she's holding on, desperately trying to pull herself back up onto the ship. Meanwhile, Grunch, I'll come back to you guys. Grunch, the ship kind of pitched a little bit, and you heard this massive thumping sound above you and around you, and this creaking, groaning sound from the ship's belly just sort of erupted underneath your feet. Give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, yeah, I'm good at those. No, 10.
10. Unfortunately, as you're rolling back, you spill half your rum on the floor.
No!
Right. The captain.
Yeah, I absolutely did not expect this, and basically fly over the table, and actually also the barrel that he pulled the rum from. I just like clotheslined it basically, and it just shatters onto the ground. And as I'm on the ground, I'm trying to like rectify the situation, but I'm too drunk to really know up and down, especially after what just happened.
Exactly. The captain comes rushing over to you. No, not the rum. Not the rum. He tries to pick you up and sort of put you aside and try and cork up what's left of the rum. All right, well, you better sleep this off. I need to go and see what's happening to my ship. You can just sleep there. It's fine. You probably won't survive getting to your quarters. Okay. Give me a perception check whilst you are lying there in a drunken fog.
Perception?
Yes. Also 10? Okay. The captain's rooms are fairly Spartan. There's a few books that are now scattered on the floor around you, mostly sailing charts, navigation charts, ledgers, and that sort of thing. One of them is the guest manifest, however. That's lying closed. There are some maps around you as well. And then, of course, his bedding.
I would be somewhat interested in the guest manifest, because like he mentioned something about the jet coming in with her wrong name. Maybe when I can see like one thing again, if I look at one thing and 2 or 3 at times, maybe I can make out the name.
All right. So you see the entry log where the 3 of you signed in, and she signed in after you by maybe, it doesn't look like it was a very long period of time between you guys signing in and herself signing in. simply because he notes the time of the port bell, which would ring out every now and again. Her name, as she's written it, it seems to be a very unfamiliar way in which it has been written. So it looks as if she should be very educated. She's from the Sajet Empire. But the way it's been written, it looks as if it was written by a 5-year-old.
I must be drunk.
Especially because the words start swimming around on the page and changing into different things, and then suddenly there's a dolphin that swims across the page. You're like, huh. All right, back to the two of you up on the ship. Waves are crashing around. The boat is sort of pitching. She's holding on with dear life. She's screaming for help.
Yep.
There's the guy with his arm in the capstan. He's also screaming for help.
My first instinct, seeing her hanging off the side of the ship, is I want to cast Thorn Whip, which is a cantrip, and it's going to grab hold of her.
Sure.
It does damage, but I want to do as little as possible. But I understand that her life hangs in the balance, so I want to just kind of reach out my hand, and from the deck of the ship, this thorn whip-like vine just kind of lashes out and attempts to wrap around her hand to pull her closer.
Perfect. Does she get a saving throw against that?
I roll a spell attack.
Okay, make her
to
attack.
hit. Okay. Oh, cock dice. Oh, 17.
Nice.
So
That's all you
17 plus 5. Okay.
Perfect. Your vines lash around her. You can see that it draws blood immediately as they sort of dig into her, but it's little in comparison. That seems to help her to start pulling herself up with this vine as you're busy pulling up as well. What are you doing, Adim?
The guy with the broken arm.
Yes.
He's stuck. He's not going anywhere, right?
No, he's not going anywhere at all.
I'm helping Elian.
You're going to help bring up the Sajet elf. It's like, yeah, okay, you're fine. It's like, help me, you bastard! And you're busy pulling the lady up.
Yep, I've got her. Help the man. He cannot be swept away.
Fine. I go to the man and I see what can be done. Is there anything
yes,
I
all
can
you
do
is
to?
you just pull the wheel back onto course, he'll be able to slide his hand out of the spokes, and he should be okay. Well, apart from the
I thought it was like pretty much done for. Like there's nothing you can do to save it. That's what I thought.
So you just need to give me a strength check to right that wheel.
Okay. That would be a 14, 15, 17.
17. You start pulling that wheel. You can feel how the water is obviously acting on the tiller of the ship, and it's trying to pull back as you pull away. But with 17, you wrench it up. He pulls his hand out and then immediately cradles his arm and looks at the two of you. Thank you, he says. Can you hold the wheel? I'll go and get a replacement.
I nod and tell him to go.
All right, he starts running down
I got it.
The side. The Sajet elf pulls herself up on you, Elion, and looks up at you. You have saved me.
Are you okay?
I am now.
That's good. This is good. Get up.
All right.
And I pull her to her feet, and I'm still holding onto the railing. Sea is still tossing, so I'm.
Why would you do this? Why would you save me?
Because every life is valuable, and you are special.
She looks at you, her deep hazel eyes kind of contrasted by the dark green waves behind you, and there's a moment where she looks as if she's about to lean in and kiss you, and then the whole ship pitches on a wave, and she sort of stumbles. I think I should go.
I grab hold of her,
Dex.
try to make her stay. Yes, we all should. Except that gentleman holding the wheel. Maybe he should stay.
This is PG-13.
Let's go. That's right.
All right, so you start moving with her down the stairs again, back to the entrance.
Yes.
To the lower half of the ship. Adim, you are busy holding this wheel. You notice, even as you can see Elion and the Sajet making her way down the stairs, that the waves appear to be lessening, and the rain isn't so biting as it hits you anymore. It also appears to be very, very, very slowly letting up. Grunch, the rocking of the ship seems to be exactly the same, except that the chandelier is no longer swinging from side to side, but your world is still swinging from side to side.
Yeah. Yes.
The captain comes staggering up. He walks past you and the wet Sajet, Elion, looks at the two of you, kind of goes, "Huh!" Carries on walking out onto deck, sees you at the wheel, and sort of thumps up next to you. "Well, I must admit I didn't think you had it in you, but thank you for staying the course. My sailor told me what you did. It was very honorable of you. I will have to maybe reduce your sea charge or something."
Oh, no, you don't worry about that. It was my pleasure. I serve life, and everyone on the ship is deserving of it.
Right. He carries on up the stairs, gets to you, Adim at the wheel. "I'll take over from here. Wouldn't want to, make my guests work. You did pay for the voyage."
I give him the wheel and...
"Wouldn't you go and fetch your companion from my quarters? I believe the ale is too strong for him on this vessel. The rum."
Oh, very well.
Good.
And I head off towards the captain's quarters.
Okay.
Rum, 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 da dum, da da.
That's what you find.
And I just like sit in a corner, just like rocking back and forth, a little bit like actually overemphasizing the rocking back and forth, and just like cradling this big book in front of me, like 3 wrenches in the bar.
Brunch, we talked about things like this. I walk over to Grunch, grab...
He forced me, practically force-fed me. I couldn't do anything.
I grab hold of his collar or something, and just trying not to, damage his clothes, drag him out of the captain's quarters. And if we are outside, if there is any large wave heading towards us, I make sure he gets a good cold shower to wake up, and otherwise just carry on back to Elion and his very special friend.
All right. Are you resisting at all, Grunge?
No, absolutely not. I'm way too drunk to resist.
Right.
Just standing up and basically swaying left and right behind him as he kind of grabs me on one of the furs around my collar.
Yes.
And kind of drags me across the deck. But I keep the guest book.
Yes.
That's the book I had anchored basically, and I kind of just like, maybe I forgot to drop it. Maybe it's just like slipped my mind or whatever. But I just I follow him with that in hand.
Also, a comfort, something that you're currently hugging for safety. Yes, until of course you get hit by a spray. Even now, Adim, as you sort of take Grunch towards the open door that leads out onto the deck, you can see that those waves have almost completely died down now, and are now just rocking and rolling, but not nearly as high as they were. Then eventually you go through to the cabin. Elion, as soon as you get to your cabin entrance, the Sajet looks you up and down and she says, I did not think there was good in the world anymore, but you have shown me otherwise. I am in your debt.
No. It was my pleasure. What is your name? We have had this encounter, and I don't even know your name.
My name is Menefari. Give me an insight check, please.
I mean, who needs an insight check if you dungeon master like this?
16 plus 21.
21. She is lying. Just the way that she said it, she wasn't very confident. It didn't roll off her tongue as well as it should. It could be the fact that she's shaken and that she was nearly swept out to sea, but it doesn't feel like it's something that she's comfortable saying.
I said, don't worry, you can trust me, but I am sure you're shaken, as I am still getting over my queasiness.
Elliot, my friend.
Oh,
why are you doing this with this fair lady? There's obviously magic, right? You know about magic, do you?
Magic?
Yeah, like you look at her and she looks at you, and then like little half-elves appear, that kind of magic.
I assure you that does not happen at all. She's blushing and she steps to the other side of the corridor, opens the door that leads obviously to the room she's in, and she's like, "That I'm not that kind of girl." And she looks at you, Elion, and gives you...
I see girls.
I don't understand.
I can just like slap him on the back and shove him a little bit and like, I'm sleeping now. Have fun.
Good night. Good night. And I reach out and wave towards the elven, and I call out once again to the female. I say, "What is your name?"
You see her
before she closes
half her face as she's closing the door, and she just gives you this smile, and then her eye flicks over towards Grunch again, and they widen a little bit, and then she slams the door shut.
Are you drunk?
No.
I can smell it. I can smell it.
You're
covered. You're covered in it.
No, it's spray for the wave.
Indeed. Maybe we should rest.
That's a good idea. Maybe I'm not. I think.
I look around the room to see if the cook finally brought the berries.
So there is a sack on the table in this very sparse room that serves as your quarters. There are the 3 hammocks, of course, and then there's the table. On the table is it looks like a brown, fairly poorly woven together bag. And you get a scent coming out of it of radishes, and is that some pumpkin that you can smell? But yeah, that's coming out of the bag.
I opened the bag.
All right. Inside there are these. It's a variety of squash-like vegetables. So there's pumpkin. There's some. It looks like root type of things. There's some beetroots in there. Very, very, very little in the way of berries, but that's kind of what's there.
Okay, so I take out all the berries, put them aside for later use, and I don't know. I look at Elion and ask if he would rather like to have a more natural dinner.
Oh! Is there any beetroot?
Yes, there is.
I do love beetroot.
I just hand him the sack.
Okay, I let go of Grunch and grab the sack and peer into it and find the first thing, grab it and just
all right,
bite right into it.
You're munching down on beetroot. Grunch is kind of snoring happily. You haven't been in the room for more than 2 minutes when there is a very, very rapid Sirs, please open the door. Sirs, are you awake?
I go open the door.
There is a young sailor standing there. He's completely wet. He looks up at you. He says, "The captain needs you on the deck as fast as you possibly can, please. He said it was urgent. We found
Everyone?
an island."
Island,
wake up.
Frenchby.
There's an island. There's land. We've made it.
Come on, Elion, let's go.
Let's go.
Not so loud. Okay.
I am perfectly content to leave Grunch over there and not bother with him.
Grunch, think you need to
I
tell
go
the
outside.
story.
All right.
You need to tell a story of when you first saw the land of the dwarves.
I need to take a loo.
I believe that he can tell you a very detailed description about the bottom of the rum barrel that he enjoyed.
Suit yourself, and I'm gonna go up to the top.
All right. So
I kind of just like sway a little bit left and right until I finally get enough momentum to like topple out of the hammock, and then just
Yes.
like, okay, I'm awake. Let's go.
So
Sleep.
then you sort of stagger out onto deck, and Adim, you have already you're going out as well.
Yeah.
All right. The three of you stagger, saunter, and walk out onto the deck. The night sky is still clouded over and obscured from vision, and the water around you, it's still choppy, but nowhere near as it was before during the storm. In the distance behind you, you can hear thunder rolling and flashes of lightning strike down into the water. The scene in front of you, however, is quite different. This large, very ominous-looking mountain range appears to have stabbed itself out of the ocean and is 2.5 miles maybe in front of the ship. There is a fog bank that seems to be approaching from the island itself, slowly drifting out over the water. The captain calls out from behind you, "Do any of you know anything about this island? Only it shouldn't be here."
Could I see if there's any kind of unnatural perversion to the landscape?
Sure. Give me a nature check.
Okay. Let's see. That would be 2 plus 14.
14. The mountain range seems as if the shape of the rock, it doesn't look as if the mountains have been exposed to weather for a very long time. They're very, very sharp-edged. There's no visible sign of erosion. It's difficult because it's mostly silhouette against a dark sky, but the peaks look particularly sharp. Very, very, very angular shapes. And the curvature of them, it doesn't look like your traditional Sugarloaf mountain. It almost looks like a wave that's been frozen by ice, as some of them have quite hooked shapes to them. But the island itself is maybe 10, 15 miles in length from what you can see, and it's just got these hooked mountains.
Something is not right about this place. It's unnatural.
The fog is also rolling in quite quickly. It's sitting just above the waterline, rolling across towards you. Maybe it's 300 feet high.
So, since we see the fog basically on sea level, more or less, right?
Yes.
Do we see any of the kind of vegetation that should be on the lower parts? So it's just like rocks, basically. Okay.
Yes. I'm not a betting man, but I've never seen this island here before. We should be in the middle of the empty, empty, empty Dagozan Sea.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. I propose we go around. No vision, sharp edges. I prefer that. You kind of point behind
the
towards
giant
where the thunder.
thunderstorm.
Yeah, exactly.
I lean into Elion and whisper, I am not staying here for any longer than we must. I just want to get to where we're going.
Captain, how far? Go ahead.
Can we just, can we just go after that storm and this island, which we both know isn't, well, it's not very natural. Can we just get on our way, not make land?
Yes, I see. Captain, how far away are we from our destination? By
Oh.
your...
I think you said a week.
We still have a week's sail at least. If you think this is the edge of the continent, you're mistaken. That might have been a fair storm, but it didn't push us 800 miles across the ocean. I can assure you. The fog bank is approaching faster than we'll be able to move. But I agree with our drunken companion here. We should avoid the island. Yes, you.
I agree as well, yes.
He starts pulling on the wheel, and he gets it maybe 45 degrees, and then it sticks. What? He tries to pull it further. The fog is now 100 yards away from the front of the ship.
I try and help the captain.
Sure.
Is something wrong?
Yes, it's not moving. This doesn't make sense. Give me a strength check, please. Anyone who's sort of pulling on the wheel?
17.
17. You pulling as well. You can feel that the wheel is slowly moving, but it's not budging beyond a few inches, and then it's just too tight to move.
I kind of look over to Elian, look over at the kind of the wheel that isn't turning by two orcs. So maybe looking over and say will be an interesting story.
All right. So the front of the ship starts to very slowly swing, but the fog gets to 50 yards, 20 yards. Sailors are running around the ship to the front, trying to lower down the sails so that they can get some speed to try and maneuver away from the island, as all the sails were up during the storm. The captain has ordered people to go down to the back of the ship to the tiller to try and cut out whatever's wrapped around the tiller. It's obviously seaweed or something he explains to you. It shouldn't have happened, but it does occasionally happen, usually in shallower water, which technically we shouldn't be in since you're in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
What are you three doing? Anything different?
I would go to the front of the ship. Is the bow in English?
Yes, the bow.
The front of the
yes.
Yeah, to the bow of the ship, and kind of try to be the first that is into this this nebula, or this smoke, this fog,
Yes.
and kind of see if there's anything we are steering towards. Maybe some mountains that not quite have made it out of the water, perhaps something like that.
Sure.
I stay and help the captain as best as I can.
Still holding onto that wheel, yeah. Elion, you doing anything specific?
Just keeping an eye on this fog, being sure that I don't know. I don't like this whole unnatural presence. This whole environment is unsettling to me, so I'm keeping my senses peeled.
Okay. The Sajet elf comes running out from the deck below you, and she looks up and she shouts, "Barbarian, what are you doing? Get away from that!" The fog is now 5 yards away from you, Grunch.
Yeah, as I turn around, looking at her.
Yes. You gonna move? No? Okay. She raises her hand to her chest and she points out at you. And you see this green bolt of energy arc from her, and it... You have a very high armor class. It buries itself.
Right now I have 18 because I don't have my shield.
Ah, that's right. Okay. So the bolt arcs and hits you in the lower knee on your right leg, and this warm feeling starts to spread around you. It doesn't feel malicious in any way. She then raises her hand and points at Adim and at Elian. Are either you going to try and get out of the way of the green bolt that's sailing towards you?
Yeah, that is unsettling. So I'm going to try and...
I am not going to let go of this damn steering wheel.
Okay. The green bolt hits you, Adim, just on the shoulder. And again, you start to feel this warm glow. Elian, as you watch, you see this glow start to encompass the whole of Grunch and then the whole of Adim. So they seem to be almost cocooned in this stuff. She's firing a bolt at you. What is your armor class? Well, she hits an armor class of 20, which I think is going to be higher than your armor class. Yes, Elian?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's... Sorry, I thought you... Yep, that's... my armor class is 13.
13. Okay. So as you kind of try and duck out of the way of this thing, it hits you. Also, this warm glow. Grunch, because you're at the front of the ship, as this energy sort of arcs across the ship, sort of encompassing everybody, the front of the ship passes into the fog bank, and there's a sailor in front with you, and he's busy lowering a line down into the water to take a depth reading. As the fog washes over him, he starts to scream as the skin on his arms literally starts to bubble and boil. And as the ship is moving quite quickly into the fog, it completely covers him. And he screams very, very briefly before he collapses into this pile of bubbling, boiling flesh next to you. The fog washes over you, but the energy seems to be keeping you safe from whatever's happening in the fog. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I would immediately try to help this poor sailor who was just trying to do his job and help us. Basically, as he's in the front, maybe his torso above further over the railing. I don't know. He's just live there, just pull him over and trying to see what's happening to him, see what's affecting him maybe, and seeing two faces. So, this is strange, but let's take a look. Maybe I'm hallucinating or something.
All right. As you pull him over, your hand sinks into the flesh of him, and your hand comes away with chunks of flesh. It's literally just boiled off of the bone on his skeleton.
So he's done.
Quite well
Quite
done.
literally.
Yes.
Yeah.
How
Adim?
How large are the cocoons that we are in?
They just cover the surface area of you. As you move around, you can see that they move with you.
I yell at the elf that's casting the spell to also target the captain.
All right.
That's next to me.
The ship is now at least a third of the way into the fog, and you see two more sailors that were up on the mast, busy unfurling the sails. Now they also start to boil, and then both of them drop down onto the deck with a wet sort of splattering sound. And you see the one literally just bursts open as he lands, and steam rises off out of all of the entrails that now slosh about on the deck. She looks up at you, and you can see her teeth are gritted, and she's covered in sweat. And she says, "I can't save any more. We must get out of the fog." Elian?
Yep, I stand up because I definitely dove out of the way of the green beam. I still pinned up, and seeing these bodies splattering, I get sick again. And I'm going to say, what should we do? Where should we go? Where can we go?
So the thing that I would want to do is run across this the entire ship now that I basically cannot help this poor man,
Yes.
and make a dive for where the rudder is in the back,
Sure.
and see what's down there in the water. Because like if we don't solve this quickly, obviously this is not going to end very well.
All right. So that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
That's my plan.
So just to be clear, Elion, she did hit you with the green beam, hey? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, you see Grunch literally just sort of running, but his legs kind of are going in different directions to one another. So there's this very weird gait that he's trying to use to get across the length of the ship. He's running towards you guys at the back. The ship itself is 65 feet, so it's going to take you a whole round to get to the back there, Grunch.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The ship is now halfway through the fog, and the sailors are now all clustering and running to the back of the ship. You can hear below decks the screams of different sailors as they are popping in their hammocks, that sort of thing.
Jeez.
Adim? It looks like Grunch is going to throw himself over the back of the ship.
Go for it. Sounds better than, being boiled alive.
All right.
Nope.
What does the ship look like? Is it taking any damage from this fog?
The ship seems to be completely unaffected by it. It's continuing to sail. The fog, you realize, is now it's not actually very thick either. It just is vaporizing anything that is living.
Biomass, not its friend.
Yes. All right.
If Grunch is jumping, I'm jumping with him.
Well, Grunch, you get to the back of the ship and you kind of look down at the tiller. You can see.
Yeah, I would try to grab maybe one of the the big kind of ropes or something that are usually on deck somewhere.
Yes.
So that there's maybe a way to get easier on the ship again once we are underwater. But if I don't see anything hard on there but watery, that I will then just jump down and take a look at the rudder.
Okay. And Adim, you're going to join him in that action?
No, I'm actually are running and going, and does the Elven Woman's spell does the the green line or whatever that's between her and me and everyone. Yeah, does that line become severed once they go far enough?
So she's starting to move
if
up.
they jump over, will it become severed?
You're not sure. She's starting to move up onto the upper deck as well. As Grunch has run past her, she's had to follow him with her hand, and now she's moving up the stairs to try and keep, it looks like, some kind of line of sight to the three of you. So that's what you see. Elion, are you going over? Grunch has just launched himself down into the water.
Yeah, I reach over and grab the rope that he has jumped down with,
Sure.
so that I can kind of shimmy down. I'm not the most athletic, so I'm going to grab the rope and I'm going to look over to the elf and I'm going to say, "You, come with us. There's no sense in dying here. This is some kind of supernatural force, some kind of force of evil. Come, quickly!" And then I'm going to go over the side of the ship and begin lowering down, but I'm waving for her to follow.
Sure.
Because I'm seeing she's sweating profusely and worried. So, of course, I'm expecting Adim to come too. He's, I'm expecting him to come, but I'm specifically reaching out for her.
Okay. Simon, as Grunch lands in the water next to the tiller, you can see that someone has wedged some kind of wooden plank in between the tiller and the joints that allow it to turn.
Okay. I'm the wrong man for this job. Okay, so obviously that being a problem, I would go there and kind of try to brace myself against maybe the side of the ship
Sure.
and against this like plank or like timber, whatever it might be, and just like use my back against the ship and my feet there, and then just push it off, like force it out of the gap.
All right. I like that description.
If that is any possible.
Yes. You wedge yourself in and you start pulling on this plank. You have advantage on your strength check to pull it free.
10.
10. All right. You're busy tugging on this thing.
I said I was
All right. It's not budging. You realize you can't do it on your own. Back to you, Adim.
How far is the fog?
The fog has now consumed 2/3 of the ship. It's about to get to the back of the ship where everybody is. The Sajet female with the energy, she is standing right at the edge of the ship and she's looking down. She sees you, Elion. I cannot move, otherwise my protection will fail. You said all life was important. I can save you 3.
I yell at the captain is an orc.
Yes.
Right?
He's busy pulling on the wheel.
I yell to him, even though I'm right next to him, I yell to him in Orcish that if we are planning on living, we need to leave the ship right now. And I try and tug him away from the steering wheel.
I will not go down with my ship. I will not abandon her. I will go down with my ship. He says, pulling on the wheel.
He's also drunk.
Yes.
I would like. Can I just brute force him and drag him off?
Absolutely. Give me a grapple check.
A grapple check, that is
athletics.
Okay. Athletics? Okay, in that case, 20.
I beg your pardon?
If it's an athletics check, it's 20.
All right.
Not a natural 20.
His sole focus is pulling on the wheel. So when you basically slam into his rib cage underneath his arms and just walk backwards, muscling him, his hands are wrenched free, and he's busy flailing. Put me back! Put me back! I'm not abandoning. I'm not a coward, you. And how do you speak orc? Elion? Elion, what you doing?
Yeah, I say there's no time for this. Everyone, off the ship now! And I look up at the Sajet.
Yes.
And I say, I understand your sacrifice, and if that is what is required, then very well. But your life is valuable too. If you can, follow us down quickly, and I want to slide down the rope into the water below where Grunge is.
As you slip into the water, you realize just how cold it is, but you can see Grunge is there busy pulling on this piece of wood that's wedged right into the tiller itself. He doesn't seem to be able to move it very much. Adim, do you just launch yourself off the back of the ship with the captain?
From my understanding, is the Sajet woman planning on sacrificing herself to save the 3 of us?
She seems to be standing right at the edge of the ship with her hand pointed at you and then pointed down into the water to the 2 gentlemen down in the drink.
I run to the edge and throw the captain into the cold water.
No! She lands in the water a few feet away from the 2 of you.
Yeah.
And I would like to ask the woman if she can't move, can I if she can't move, can I move her and I don't know, with a rope lower her off the edge, or I don't know, throw her into the water or something? Would it help?
She looks at you. She says, "No, I cannot I must concentrate to keep this magic working. You leave. It's fine.
Is there a rope nearby?
Yeah, there's plenty of ropes hanging everywhere. I'll come back to you. Elion, you and Grunch. Grunch, are you still pulling on that plank?
Yeah, I'm trying to get like his attention and saying like we need to free the ship. We don't need to abandon it. We are in the middle of the fucking ocean.
I reach out and grab the captain and pull him out of the water as he's sputtering. I say, "You need to free you. If you want to save your ship, you need to loose this tiller."
Who put a bloody
Help Grunch.
plank there? He said. All right. Well, you can drink. Maybe let's see if you can pull. On the count of 3, right? 1, 2, 3, and he tries to push.
Mhm.
Oh boy. As he pushes, you just see him pushing himself
Obviously,
away
yeah.
from the plank and down under the water. And he comes splashing up
Can I
again.
help him at this point?
Yes, you can. Give him a strength check. Oh,
I want to
give
come
me a
help him and hold him there.
So,
Oh, wow. 18 minus 1 is 17.
nice.
And that, kid, is why you always eat your spinach.
Yeah. So you hold the captain whilst the captain's busy trying to push, and Grunch, you're busy pulling. What did you roll, by the way, Grunch, for your strength check to pull?
Do you want me to roll another one or
Yes,
choose the
please.
first one?
No, roll another one. What you mean by first one? You mean
Okay.
the previous rolls?
Yes.
The 10. No, you get to roll a new one because he's pushing and you're now pulling. So
Okay. Then 12.
there you go. It's between you holding the captain and pushing him, and the captain's not pushing at all, and Grunch pulling. You get the plank most of the way out, but it's still stuck in the tiller. Adim, you can see that the tiller wheel is now starting to move slightly just by the motion of the water on it. The fog is now reaching, it is about 3 foot away from the wheel itself.
I am going to hope that. Wait, okay. I am going to run to the ship's wheel and try and wiggle it. Maybe I can help the others push the plank away.
All right.
Move it ever so slightly. Since the woman is behind me, she can keep the spell working
Sure.
on me so I don't die.
She can. All right. You pull on the tiller wheel. Between Elion and Grunch, give me a number between 1, 2, or 3, or 4, 5, or 6. So choose Grunch.
I always like high. So 4, 5, 6 for
4,
me.
5, 6.
I got
I
3.
like my heads though.
4, 5, or
I like my
6.
heads though, please.
You're busy pulling on the wood, and the next minute this
Uh-huh.
teller, which it's a fairly large board, suddenly swings directly towards you and squeezes you between the side of the ship and itself. You take
Yeah.
a small amount of damage, as it's quite
Oh.
violent. You take 2 points of damage as it sort of smashes into you. The plank bursts free. You feel the whole ship starting to turn slowly on its axis. The fog washes over the wheel that you're busy holding, Adim. But as the fog touches your hand, you see that green energy sort of flaring, and the fog doesn't seem to do very much other than continue as the ship is now starting to turn. Both of you in the water are feeling the ship now slowly starting to swing to starboard. What you doing?
Yeah, doing like this now with if this is the rope, I'm
Yes.
trying to do this now, right?
All right. Yes.
Like
So you sort of
coiling it around my arm so to secure myself before the boat sails on, so to speak.
absolutely.
Are we
Yeah.
swinging towards the fog or away from the fog?
So if the fog is coming towards you, the ship is now starting to swing so that it's going to cruise along the side of the fog. Eventually, if you continue on this course, you'll be moving away from the fog. But at the moment, you're no longer going straight into it. Now you're sort of going in at about a 45-degree angle.
Yep, I'm gonna gonna grab hold of one of the ropes dangling as well, and just try to swing towards the opposite side of the ship where the fog is not,
Okay.
and grab the now struggling captain and
Yes.
try to hold on to him to keep him from drowning or being crushed or fogged out.
All right. So you're almost moving against the direction of the ship so that you can move around to the more protected side, which is absolutely fine. It's difficult, but there's ropes hanging all over the place, so that assists you in moving along. And Adim, eventually, after pulling on this wheel, you pull the ship so that it now is sliding, running parallel with the bank of fog. The fog doesn't seem to be coming much further forward. So it's almost as if you've reached the extremity of the fog. You hear, as the ship does its final leveling off, that there was someone downstairs who was obviously caught in just the corner of the fog. And there was one final scream, and then this exploding sound of a wet bag exploding. Before eventually everything is now quiet, except for the cursing, grunting sound from the captain down below in the water. I should have gone down with my ship, but I appreciate you saving me.
I continue to hold the course and not turn anymore, just to make sure that my friends can get to the safe side.
Sure.
I assume that's what they're doing.
Okay. It doesn't take you very much time to eventually be able to pull yourselves back up onto deck. I'm assuming that's what you're going to be doing. Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Once we're safe, I'm going back up.
Sure. You climb back up onto the deck, wet but not covered in fog. As soon as the Sajet elf sees that the ship is now actually starting to break away from the fog line, she drops to her knees and she drops the spell, and that warm sensation just disappears completely as the magic evaporates. The captain kind of climbs up and looks at the sails that are half unfurled. At the steering, he takes over. Well, it seems I owe you twice now. And he kind of rubs the back of his head.
It's fine. It's truly fine. Maybe we should avoid these occasions where we must continue to save each other. However, I will do so till my dying breath.
I agree, I think. Yes. Would you, Grunch, please give me a perception check?
Yeah, sure. 19.
19, okay. The blobs all start to rise, and although the flesh remains as a puddle, these skeleton-like figures start to lurch upwards, and that's all that they're doing this round, is they're just sort of standing. There are 8 skeletons that are on deck anyway that you can see, and they start moving towards the 3 of you and the captain. The Sajet female, she's sort of lying on the deck. They don't seem to have seen her. They're just slowly closing in. So it's 2 each, and then there's 2 going for the captain. Grunch, you're up next.
Yeah,
Okay, so since we're on a ship and we are right now are we on the back of the ship where the
You're
kind
at
of
the back,
the
yes.
wheel is?
Yes.
So I assume this is like a little bit of like a point where it's higher.
Yes.
But you said there are just 2 ways to get up there.
The staircase is correct.
So I would try to grab maybe like some timber that got maybe shattered off or something and use it as a shield. And I don't know if I have my weapon with me. I would assume not, because I didn't really expect to be attacked. So I would just grab anything that maybe like a spoke that is broken off from the wheel or anything to use like a club, and then I would get up to the top of the stairs basically to face them and pull them into the funnel as they're coming for us. And I don't know how much I can hit with this, but I would just grab in one of my pouches and just like throw some sand or some ice crystals, you're not quite sure what it is, into the direction of where these skeletons come towards us. Spell-wise, this is fairy fire. It's a 20-foot cube. I don't know how many I would be able to get with that.
3.
But 3. All right, so 3 of them would make to need a dexterity saving throw, DC 13. If they fail, they cannot be invisible, but that's not really the thing that I'm after. But you also get advantage attacking them.
Nice. So one of them, as you throw the dust, its joints obviously give out and it stumbles, so it slips underneath that. The other 2 get completely hit by it, and they start to glow with this shimmering light that you've hit them with. Elion.
Yes, I look at the captain and I say, it is never worth it to give your life for something without, like your ship. However, to give your life to defeat evil and undeath is always worth it. There's a cat now in my lap, but I look down and say that.
Is it though? Is it an elf thing?
I look down and say that to him in all seriousness.
Yes.
And then I look out. So you said I can see 8
yes.
skeletons
so there are 6
out on the deck.
Correct. There are 6 that are on the lower deck from where you are, so you're higher up. There are 6 below you, and then there are 2 at the back that have. They were at the back with the captain with the wheel. They were trying to turn that. They're still rising up out of their sludge piles.
Okay, how many could I get? How many are about 20 feet apart from each other? Could I get it like on the lower deck? I want to cast Entangle.
Sure.
And I want to create a bunch of basically the wood of the ship. I want the wood to kind of splinter and these vines to wrap around these skeletons and hold them in the entanglement.
Yeah, you can get 3 of them.
Okay, I do so. So they need to make a strength saving throw.
All right.
And my DC is 13.
All 3 fail. They're
awesome.
Just entangled. They're clawing at the vines. The splintering sound, it releases into the air this almost pine scent that for a moment lingers and then is washed away by the ocean breezes and the salt sort of smell returns. Adim.
And then I ready my bow. I ready my bow after casting it.
Sure.
Is my sword with me?
I don't think so. I think it would probably be in the cabin.
What? Wait. Which skeleton is the closest to me, and what is it doing?
At the moment, the closest to you, it's about 7 foot away from you because you're up at the wheel near the captain. It's currently trying to form itself up. It's standing up. It's not paying too much attention to its surroundings at the moment.
It is not in the fog, correct?
Correct.
I would like to rush towards it and make away with 2 of its leg bones.
All right. So you charge towards it. Give me a grapple check.
That would be 24.
Sure. You grab you grab both of its legs and you just start pulling. All right. What is your strength?
16. I mean +3.
Nice. Okay. As you grab both of its legs, you just start pulling the legs almost apart, trying to get hold of them, and you snap its one leg completely off at the joint. The whole thing just shatters, and the skeleton topples over to the side. It starts to claw its way towards you. So between the leg that you've ripped off, you've got your 2 leg bones quite easily. Okay, back to top of the round. The skeletons now start to move. That entanglement, is that an active area? So if any skeletons move into it, they have to make a saving throw as well? I see Simon's
when you can.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe so.
All right.
Pretty sure it is, yeah.
Yeah. And they're moving at half speed. Is that right?
It is difficult terrain.
Yeah, and if they're restricted, I think if they fail the save, they're restricted. So that would be 0, I think, right?
Yep. They're restrained by the entangling plants.
Restrained, right? So
They have to make a strength check in order to move. That's fine.
Mhm.
All right. Well, 3 of them are going to try and move out of it. Failed. 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 3 move into it because they don't know to avoid it.
Yeah,
1.
and actually, I don't think they have to make saving throws if they move into it. I'm not seeing that. It's just difficult terrain.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
it's just difficult terrain. All right. So the 3
my
that
apologies.
start lumbering into it, they start pushing their way through. The weeds are not grappling at them. It is, as you say, just difficult terrain. Then the one that's on the deck closest to you, Adim, it's busy clawing its way towards you. And you realize it's actually moving fairly quickly. And within a few, literally within 3 seconds, it's covered the distance back to you. And it just tries to grab your leg now, returning the favor. It hits number close to 13. I believe that's a miss.
Actually, that would be a hit.
Right.
he just wants a femur. He's not picky about which one.
Yes. You take 3 points of damage as it's the shards, the tips of its skeletal fingers dig into your flesh. The other skeleton has gone for the captain and is busy tussling with the captain. And you can see the captain is starting to bleed as well. Okay. Grunch.
Yes. So just to just mention this because you cut me off there last round a little bit.
Oh,
as a
sorry.
bonus action, I would have wanted to kind of take a look at a line and say like, we need to focus. This is bad news. What's happening under below deck? So as I'm a bard, I can use a bonus action to use bardic inspiration. So since I'm a Valor bard, you can use the bardic inspiration to do your saves and all your regular jazz, but also use your reaction when you're hit to increase your AC, the amount of the die, which is at this point, I think a d6. Let me double check that though.
Nice.
It's d6 or d8.
Okay.
So on my turn then, that was
Yes.
last turn.
Yes. Yes.
On my turn, did they come up to me at this point?
Not yet.
The glowing ones?
They're the ones that are stuck in the vines.
All right.
So next round, the not glowing ones will get up to you.
Okay. But there are 2 behind me already tussling with
Yes.
my friends,
One
right?
is with the captain,
Okay, so
one is with a demon.
okay, I'm still set upon not letting more doom come upon them and kind of basically holding the line here. But I would then go down the stairs and like kind of greet them there and trying to basically slap at one that is maybe at the edge
Yes.
of the spell, if I
Easy.
can reach one.
Yes, you can. He's one of the glowing ones, so you have your advantage.
All right, so I strike out with this spoke of the wheel and slam him. AC 17.
That's a hit.
Would
2
be
damage.
6. I don't know what damage it would be. Is it an improvised weapon?
It's a belaying pin.
Or is it club?
Which counts as a club, so it's a d6. Yeah.
All right. In that case, I would actually have hit just for 14 because I cannot use my dex for the attack. So the AC would be 14. I don't know if that hits.
Still a hit.
Then it would make just 3 damage because I don't get all the nice jazz would usually get.
Yeah. So you smash into it, and they really aren't moving very fluidly. So it's not difficult to hit them. As you smash into it, you can see bits of the rib cage are cracking. It doesn't look like it's going to be standing for very much longer. Elion.
I realize that I probably don't have my actual bow and arrows, so I'm going to say it's my bow, which is the quarterstaff.
Right.
I imagine I would have that walking up. So I've got the quarterstaff. I see that there are the ones entangled, and there are other skeletons with them. There's a total of 6 now.
That's right.
Down there.
Yep.
And then there's 2 closest to us.
Yes, one.
I see them attacking. Perfect. I'm going to go over to the one fighting a Deem that's kind of clawing into him and take my quarterstaff and just try to strike the skeleton.
Make your attack.
And natural 18.
Lovely. That's it. Do damage.
Imagine that hits.
Yep.
D6, by the way, is correct.
Yeah. Is it? Okay.
And
perfect.
I'm using 2 hands, obviously, with the quarterstaff, so it gets a D8 instead of a D6.
Nice.
That's a 4 -1, 3 damage.
Is that the theme for tonight? 3 damage? Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
Adim?
We're 3 players, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
I assume the skeleton is still on me.
Yes.
Well, I have 2 of its legs. I am going to bludgeon the skeleton with its own legs.
Make your attack.
I am dual wielding, so I will have to roll twice, correct? Okay. Natural 20.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool.
And
Yes.
the second attack is 16.
Okay, both hits. So, do your damage for the 20.
And how much do skeleton legs deal damage?
They'll do a D4. They're not particularly heavy.
Okay, so I rolled 2 for the 20, so that's 5.
Sure.
And on a critical roll, I can roll 1 die again and add its damage as well. And that's another 4.
Nice.
So when you say you beating on it, what you do is you smash it once, then you grab the head of the bone, and because it's shattered, you take the whole thing and you just bury it into the back of its skull, and then you bury the front of the skull into the wooden deck, and the whole thing just stops moving immediately.
Nice.
Well done.
Okay. There is still another skeleton that's fighting the captain. The captain howls out in pain. You can see him staggering. He's clutching his throat, and there's bits of bone that are stuck into his neck. The skeletons that are currently stuck, still not moving. One of them breaks free, one of the illuminated ones. 13 was the DC.
13.
Okay,
Yes.
so 2 of them have broken free and the other 2 are moving on. So that means that the bard is now surrounded by 2 skeletons that get to swing at you. Your armor class is now 20.
If the one of the spokes would count as
Yes.
a shield, yes.
Yes.
Then yes, 20.
You use your buckler, so that's fine. All right, first attack is a complete miss. Second attack comes very close to hitting you. It kind of smacks at you, but the bar that you're holding breaks its attack. Then one manages to come up the staircase because there's 2 staircases, so you're guarding one of them. It's going up the other one.
Other one, yeah.
Elion.
As I see the Adim destroys that skeleton,
Yeah.
I immediately turn to the captain as he cries out in pain.
Sure.
And the skeleton that is assaulting him, I
Yes.
want to cast Thorn Whip
Sure.
once more and try to drag that skeleton off of him and I guess towards me
Nice.
is
Make your attack.
where it has to go. All right. Let's see. That's 17.
17. It lashes around the skeleton, around its midriff, and you just start pulling towards yourself. How much damage does it do?
It takes 1 piercing damage, and I pull it 10 feet closer to me.
All right. Well, that's right up next to you then.
Great.
All right.
And that's my turn.
That's it. Adim?
Okay, so the captain is still at the wheel.
Not anymore. He's now holding on to the side of the railing because he's bleeding quite profusely. And the wheel is now starting to rotate.
And it's starting to rotate in a way that is...
Obviously the wrong direction.
Towards the fog. I just rolled for it. It's going towards the fog.
Had to be.
I would like to attempt to run towards the wheel.
Sure,
and
you get there. Nothing's stopping you.
And while doing that, while passing by Elion, I would like to try and hit and run the skeleton, like passing by.
Sure, you can do that. That's not a problem. Make your attack.
Okay. And that is on 18.
That's a hit. Do damage.
And it's 5.
That's to the one that you did 1 to already. Okay. As you smash into it, you knock the whole of its shoulder assembly off, so the scapula falls on the ground, part of the clavicle swings open, and the arm itself falls clattering to the floor. The skeletons, the one that is now with you, Elion, I'll start with you. It now with only one arm claws at you.
Okay.
It hits an armor class of 16.
Yeah, that's a hit.
That's a hit. All right. You take 3 points of damage.
Okay.
All right. The two that are with you, Grunch, they attack you. First one hits you, but barely. The second one, complete miss. So it's clawing at your shoulders. Yes.
Can I use my reaction to use my bardic inspiration to add another d6 to my armor class?
Sure. It got an armor class of 22. That's what was hit twice.
That's still not enough. I rolled a 1.
Oh no. It was
1 in 6 chance.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
So I try to bring up my shoulder and basically shield it with the massive amounts of furs that are there. But it just like due to them being drenched in water, it's like I'm not as fast because of the weight, and then just like expose myself even further doing that. All right, hit me
for a whopping 2 damage.
Oh, I should have rolled better.
The other skeleton has now made its way up the stairs, and it attacks you, Adim, and misses completely. Then the one that's left entangled breaks away and starts going up the stairs as well. And the other 3 that were slowly moving through the entanglement are now also heading up the stairs, bringing your grand total to 6 skeletons upstairs. Yes.
So are there 4 moving up the other stairs, and
yes,
2 are with me
very,
right now?
very slowly. Yeah.
All right.
That brings us to you, Grunch.
All right. So I, with my teeth gritting from the pain, I say, "Look, his trickery will not be uncovered." And I use minor illusion on the other side of the staircase to make it seem, it's an illusion, right? To make it seem that the stair breaking apart, so basically making the ramp go down and the other ramp go up, so basically building like a makeshift wall, which is an illusion. Minor illusion is a cantrip, so it's not very strong, but it says if you use your action to examine it, then you can determine that it's an illusion. Otherwise, you can make an investigation check against the safety DC, which is a 13. I don't know. They seem to be rather stupid, so that might be an idea, but that's my action.
That's your action? All right.
Yeah. As a bonus action, I also inspire myself again. Because I thought that was quite a good...
So brilliant. I'm so brilliant.
Because I thought that was quite a nice move. Now it's just like, I think about the time in the tundra and about my family there and the stories I need to tell.
All right, perfect, lovely. Elion.
Yes, I believe I just have one next to me, and the other 5 are a little further away from me.
They're still on the staircase. Yeah, and they've now stopped.
So I want to. Okay, if they've stopped, I want to tell everyone. If they get close to us, I will force them away. However, you all need to hold on. I just yell that out, just kind of give a heads up. In case they rush us all, I can blast them away. In the meantime, I wield my quarterstaff with 2 hands and try to golf club this skeleton's head clean off its shoulders.
Make your attack.
That's a... All right, that is a 13 to hit.
13 is a hit. Do your damage.
Awesome. 2.
Woo!
There is a popping sound as you smash the skull clean off of its vertebrae. It sails out over into the water and lands about 50 yards from the edge of the ship.
I do the Babe Ruth with after I've swung, the quarterstaff is still pointing very briefly, and then I get back in a moment.
All right, Adim.
Okay, so Am I holding the wheel?
Yes. Are you going to try and swing it back?
Is there a skeleton right next to me, or
not yet? They appear to be halfway up the staircase, but the one in front is stopping. Well, has stopped, and is kind of looking around, and the one at the back is starting to turn around and head towards the other staircase.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Which way is the fog? Considering,
so the fog,
is it to the left or right of us?
It's on the left-hand side of you because you're running parallel with it. So the fog is here, and you're on this side. But now that you're looking at the fog, you can see that the fog is slowly starting to break up because dawn is now starting to rise. The sun is in the distance. So the fog is starting to evaporate.
Grunch is getting a horrible hangover as the sun is now rising. The sun is now rising.
I try to set the course and put the 2 legs I got, jam them into in between the spokes so the wheel won't turn, and then I would like to go towards the 4 skeletons.
All right, so you just jam those bones right at the bottom of the wheel, locking it in place effectively. So you're still running parallel with the fog. And then you start heading towards the skeletons. All right, you see that it looks as if the staircase has collapsed just near the top. And the wood is sort of piled upwards, and as if the stairs have just sort of been smashed against the base of the ship. On this side, on the other side, at the base of the stairs, you can see Grunch busy fighting off several skeletons. The ones that are on the staircase, it looks as if it's broken. They've stopped and are looking around. Which staircase are you going to go to?
I'm going to go towards the staircase with the 4 skeletons.
All right. So you can get there, and then your next round, you'll be able to attack. Back to the top of the round. 2 skeletons are attacking you. Still, Grunch. First one, complete miss. Second one, beyond a miss. They're swiping and clawing at you, but you can almost just put a hand on the forehead and just push it back, and it swipes underneath, stumbles backwards.
I was a bully in barbarian school, okay? I'm sorry.
The skeleton at the top of the stairs investigates and realizes that this is some kind of magic, and it steps through directly into your path, Adim. The one behind it starts to shuffle up as well. Then the fourth one had started to walk away, and it's now trying to head towards our dear Mr. Grunch down there. The initiative is now to you, Grunch.
All right. At least it halted them for a second. I'm not really having a lot of options here. I guess I'm just gonna try to make the skeleton acquainted with my spoke. Spoke to the head. It's a hit, but only for 3 damage.
All right. Elion, there are no skeletons on the upper deck anymore, except for one that's now stepped up to Adim.
Okay. I imagine that there is there some kind of mast on this deck of the ship, like some
there is a
heavy
sail, yes. Yep. There is a mast.
Okay, and then around the steering wheel, is there another railing there?
That looks down over onto the deck below, yes.
Yes, where the other skeletons are moving about.
Correct.
The one, I look over to the staircase near Adim, and I want to specifically put as much in between me and the skeleton as possible, like the railings and the mast thing.
Sure.
And I want to thorn whip the one that is attacking Adim and just try to drag its skeleton bony structure smashing into the wooden implements in the way.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. Make your attack. Edema, you're about to strike the skeleton, this viney rope suddenly wraps, maybe.
Not good. No. 8.
It
Does an 8 hit?
It wraps around the railing next to you and just pulls out a whole piece of railing. There's splinters everywhere. Both you and the skeleton look at the thing and then look back at each other. Adim?
I look at the. Is the Sajet up here with me?
Yes, she is. She's still lying down.
Okay. Is she conscious?
Give me a perception check, please.
Okay. All right. 11.
11. She is lying there. She seems to be shivering and shaking.
Okay. I want to see if she'll respond. But I look over to her and say, "Can you fight? You seem powerful. Can you assist us in this battle?"
She sort of shakes her head and says something in Sajet. You can't really make it out.
Oh, she's all shaken up. Okay, gotcha.
All
right.
I would like to use the moment of surprise provided by Elian to use my large half-orc foot and just try and kick the skeleton and the other 3 beneath it down the stairs.
All right, nice. Give me a melee attack.
Okay.
The strength.
12.
12. You strike out. Your foot hits the skeleton right in the middle of the chest. Give me a strength check, please. You need to beat. Oh. Okay. Well, roll.
Hulk
19.
skeleton.
19. All right. Your foot lands squarely on its chest, and you kick back, but it just leans into it, and it doesn't move. But there is a shattering and crunching of its bones. Roll a d4 and add your strength. That's the damage you do to it. It just doesn't move.
It's Hulk skeleton.
It is.
5.
5 damage. Okay. The rib cage shatters and your foot just punches through it, and the whole thing collapses around your leg as you sort of now have skeleton wrapped around you. The others behind it, the 2 others behind it, however, are unaffected. This brings us to them. 2 more attacks on you, Grunch. Not that they seem to phase you in the slightest. Nope. There was a...
I've ventured through the Orcish, the Goblinoid lands. They were much more vicious than these former sailors.
Yes.
Former sailors.
I would call them sailors now.
Yeah,
Late sailors.
The one skeleton that was behind the one that you shattered, Adim, it steps forward and it slashes at you. Aha, natural 20. Okay. So, wow, you take 7 points of damage. As it's stepping forward, it trips and it just buries its arm into your stomach. Quite
That's
badly.
nasty.
Elian? I apologize, Grunch.
All right. I kind of take a look around and seeing that they're kind of still coming on. I would like to take a second and try to listen if there's any commotion going on below deck.
Sure. It is difficult with the battle happening all around you, but
Absolutely.
You do hear underneath, it sounds like someone is chopping wood.
Oh. Okay, I think I need my stuff. I think otherwise this could take quite some time. So I will make myself acquainted with the cook again and see how the butcher looks like. I will not disengage, which means they get attacks of opportunity against me, but I will just like leap over the railing inside the middle of where we came out from below deck and try to make just a haste towards our quarters where I left my stuff. Now, while I say this, I kind of take a look and then say like, wait a minute, I'll get our stuff.
That's what you hear as you watch Grunch sort of just walk through the skeletons who kind of slash wildly and blindly at you. Their claws bounce off of your wet furs and things. They don't do any damage whatsoever. You move through the door. The hacking sound is much louder here, and it sounds like it's coming from the kitchen space or somewhere else. But you burst into your room. All of your gear is there. It's easily grabbable.
Yeah, I basically get the stuff that I can. Maybe the quiver, the bow, the short sword, and my sword as well.
Absolutely.
Just like grab it and then turn and try to get back.
Start moving back. Okay. Elion?
Yes, I see Adim get stabbed by the skeleton. I want to immediately cast a healing word. So I just raise my hands, and you see, like, around the wound of Adim, almost like flowers and petals are going to seal the wound. And I healed you for 6 HP.
While you're doing that, I'm yelling no and pointing at the captain.
Oh.
I look at the captain. Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's kind of slumped against the railing, holding his neck, and you can see this dark blood is busy oozing between his fingers.
But he's still alive, just in away from the danger is what I'm more concerned with.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that was a bonus action. So for my action, I'm going to attempt another Thorn Whip, this time kind of leaning over the railing at the skeletons walking beneath and try to snatch them up into the railing in between us.
Nice. Make your attack.
All right.
Oh, the railing.
An 11.
Yeah.
You still have your D6 you can add to that if you wish.
Yeah,
From the Bardic Inspiration you didn't use yet.
Oh, yes. Indeed. That's a 2.
So 13.
13.
It wraps around one of the skeleton's arms, and you yank it. Do your damage.
Yeah. All right. That is 3 points of damage, piercing damage.
Of course.
Obviously, it's 3.
It wouldn't be any other.
Of course.
All right. And that pulls it 10 feet into the balustrade.
Yes.
All right. And then that will do an additional D4 damage.
Nice.
From the impact. It didn't expect it.
2.
Another
What?
Yeah, this is scandalous. All right. As it sort of smashes into the side, the whole thing just shatters and turns into bones.
Awesome.
Adim?
So I take it that there is still a skeleton that just, stabbed me in the gut right in front of me.
Still standing in front of you, correct?
Sadly, I don't have any weapons, so I will attempt to grab its shoulders and headbutt its head off.
Nice, make your attack.
and you don't want people to know that you're an orc?
Yeah.
Totally human. This is a totally human thing to do.
18.
Oh yeah, you hit it. Do damage, which would be a D4 plus strength. You have a big skull.
That would be 6.
Nice.
Wow.
You jam your head into its face. Instead of its head popping off, though, your head just goes into the skull. You feel the skull breaking into it as if you're pushing your thumbs into a boiled egg as the shell just breaks. As you pull back, for a moment, its face is on your face, and you're seeing through its eye sockets until the whole thing falls off. Then the skeleton stumbles backwards, and as it's stumbling backwards, it just breaks apart around the rest of the companions who are coming up the stairs. The last 2. That
was awesome.
Brings us to the 2 skeletons that were on you originally, Grunch. You are not there anymore, so they are starting to move up the stairs. That means one of them is going to get to you, Elion, and one of them is going to get to you, Adim. So the one that gets to you, Elion, slashes at you, hits an armor class of 16, which is a hit, I believe.
It's a hit. Yes.
4 points damage.
Uh-oh.
As it sort of rakes its hands across your back. Adim, the last one, steps through the clouding, broken remains of its companion, slashes at you, hits an armor class of 16, which is a hit. and delivers a stack of 4 more damage to you. Right, that brings us to Grunch. You come running out with all the weapons. There are 2 skeletons left, but they both now have moved up onto the top deck.
Just 2 left?
Yep.
All right. As I run up, can I get up there?
Sorry, not 2 left. There's 4 left.
4
Apologies.
left.
So there
All
must
right.
be 2 on this deck as well. They're the ones slowly going up the stairs.
Okay. So I will push if I can. I don't know how far this is from me, right? So you tell me if I can or not. But I will try to push past the ones that are still on the staircase and move up to on the top part of the deck, basically where my friends are in the main of the melee. Drop all of the weapons except my weapon, and then use my weapon if that is
Moving past the
doable.
skeleton is not a problem, but you will invoke an attack of opportunity.
I'm not concerned with skeletons.
Famous last words.
Yes,
No.
I am not concerned.
It slashes at you, but yeah. By the time you had run past it, it was still turning around to see what was running up behind it, and it just blindly strikes out. You get up into the top
Yes.
deck, you easily drop the weapons in front of you, it's a free action, and you have your sword, so you may make an attack.
Yes, my sword. Ta-da! Finally, weapon. Okay, so instead of doing that, I assume there are 4 skeletons, and none of them are shiny. And
Yes, those were all destroyed.
but now we are a little bit closer together.
Very
Can
much.
I now redo the same spell and hit everybody?
Yes, you can.
All right, then I will
Now-
do that. Now let me double check if I hit everybody or just the people that I want to.
Yes, that's what I would have about to ask.
It's like it says always creature, so I assume I just hit everybody.
Yep.
Makes also more sense.
All right, everybody gets covered in glow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a DC, it's a save, right? So
Yes.
it's a dexterity save DC 13.
All right, so if you gentlemen can do that, please. 1 skeleton passes, fails,
Natural 1.
fails.
I failed.
Fails. So just you, Grunch, and 1 skeleton are not glowing. Everybody else is glowing in this vague moonlight.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, so that's your spell.
Action and everything, yeah.
Gotcha. Elion?
Take my quarterstaff, 2 hands. I'm going to go charging towards. I guess I'm going to now move to the staircase where there is one there.
Yeah. So they're starting to circle you almost. The 2 that came up the stairs, and then there's 2 more coming up the stairs. They're slowly starting to circle, but not yet. So you can easily get to one of them. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I go over one of them and just try to knock it with my quarterstaff.
Make your attack. You have advantage.
All right, so it's 14 to hit.
It's a hit. Do your damage.
One point of damage.
Don't get drunken with power.
Am I closer to my bow and arrows?
Yes.
Okay,
They're not
that
far.
is a good thing.
All right. Right. So, yeah, you smash at it, but mostly you hit the decking rather than the actual creature itself.
Yeah.
Adim?
Is the captain holding onto the railing near me?
Well, he's 20 foot away, so yes.
Okay. I'm wondering which is closer, the captain or the pile of weapons?
The pile of weapons is in between you and the captain.
Okay. And there's a skeleton in front of me. And on the stairs. I would like to attempt to kick that one down the stairs.
Make your attack.
That is no. That's my roll plus my strength, right? Okay, that's 13.
13 is a hit. Do your damage.
Ooh, 6.
6. This is the only one that isn't glowing, and the reason why it isn't glowing is because as you kick it, the whole thing just crumbles to dust. It takes 2 steps backwards. As it does, its joints are just giving out under the pressure, and then it just crumbles into the
Wow. So
pile.
I just imagined like the hand like clutching the rail
Yes.
and the arm just detaching from it. It just falls backwards.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so that means there are 3 skeletons left. There are 3 of you, so by convenience, that's how it's going to play out. They all have, they do not have advantage on you, Grunch, so that'll be the first one. He swings at you blindly, relatively speaking, completely misses. Then at Elion, they have advantage on you because you are glowing. First attack misses, second attack hits you, unfortunately, for 4 damage. It's really laying into you, yeah. And then...
Yeah, I'm bleeding now.
Adim, first attack misses, well, the first roll misses, second roll misses as well. So it's sort of clawing at you, but not making any contact whatsoever. Grunch.
All right, now with newfound invigoration and my targeting system online, I will try to now use my real weapon to slam it. And with advantage, I roll the first one, an 8, and then a natural 1, so a 6. So I miss. That's all that exposition. Yeah, so I kind of take a look around to see the situation and see that the captain is kind of starting to bleed out. And I'm not really focused for a second and just like slash across, but I just miss. I would hit the rib cage if they would flash. We would still be flash. So I just swing in between 2 ribs, and it's just like clumsily missing.
Elion, behind you, you hear this flailing of blade and air.
Oh, doesn't sound good. I'm depending on that flailing blade. At this point, I reach down and hold this wound. I'm now bleeding. My leather and green leather armor is like torn. And I reach and I look up at this skeleton, and my eyes like kind of start to turn wolf-like as I'm going to use my wild shape.
Nice.
And become. I'm going to become a brown and silver wolf, essentially. And I think that's my whole action. So I'm just going to transform, become a wolf.
Excellent. Adim, you hear the druid doing his thing behind you. There is one. There is a skeleton on you.
Yeah. Where exactly is the skeleton in relation to me and Elion?
So there's a skeleton that's sort of standing over Elion, kind of watching as he's changing this shape, and then there is one next to you. So you're in a triangular kind of shape around the wheel, if you like. You're at one staircase, Grunch is at the other, Elion's kind of in the middle with your weaponry and that sort of thing. And there's a skeleton right next to you as well.
I would like to just tackle it, try and smash its skull against the floorboards.
It's the best you can do.
Weapons? Who needs weapons?
I got your weapons, guys! I got your weapons! Yeah, that's great. Thanks for that. You carry on.
And I rolled a 14, 15, 17.
17's a hit. Do damage.
Question: what kind, like, if I'm trying to rush it down, what kind of attack am I actually doing?
So
because
you say you're just trying to slam it into the ground.
Yeah, I was thinking about just rushing it with all of my weight and like crushing it between me and the floor.
Sure, absolutely. So you can roll a d6. You're a big heavy orc.
4 damage.
4 damage. Okay. You slam into the skeleton. It goes down underneath your weight, but parts of you land on yourself and on it as well. So whilst you're trying to drive its head into the ground, you kind of did, but it bounced back. And then it starts sort of chomping and clawing at you, which is what it's doing right now. So there are still 3 skeletons left. One on Grunch. No good. Elion, how long does your illumination last, by the way? Your fairy lights? Is it concentration?
Concentration up to 1 minute.
Ah, all right. And
So 10 rounds.
Adim, yours manages to bite you. It sort of bites into your neck area because you're lying on top of it. 2 damage.
That I can deal with.
Crunch.
Yes. So now, having tried out how to swim, if my sword still swings, it does.
Yes.
Now getting serious here.
Now it's time to fight.
Yes, with a 23 with advantage.
That's a hit. 2 damage.
Yeah, that's a hit. So this is slashing damage. I don't know if they have like stuff against it, but this will be 8 points of slashing.
You just slam your blade right onto the crown of its head and just slide all the way down. It bounces over the clavicle and slices into the rib cage. The whole thing just peels in half and collapses into dust around you.
All right. Then with my bonus action, I will take a quick look at the situation and still remembering from before the still like coughing and bleeding captain, and I will use a healing word and say, I heard your rum. I will drink your rum if you die, you know?
Never! It's mine, you swine!
Yeah, 7 hit points. It's max.
Huh. I feel better.
I feel better.
Elian?
All right. Dog wants his bone. I'm gonna go full on, just ravaging. I mean, this is like walking down the aisle of PetSmart where all the treats are.
Like, you don't know which one to go for. I'll go for a bit of rib. No,
Oh,
no, I
yeah.
want the leg. No, I want the arm.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, and it's still glowing, correct? So
Yeah,
advantage.
Advantage.
All right, that's 14 plus
That's
4,
a hit.
18.
Yeah, lovely. 2 damage.
All right. And all right, that is 7 points of piercing damage.
Oh, you rip it to pieces. You pull on this
Yes.
bone, and it sort of stumbles forward, and you grab the leg, and you rip that out, and then you kind of land on top of it, and you just start going through each of the ribs, kind of pulling one out, and looking proud, and then spitting out and pulling out another one. Yeah. Adim?
Snarling and drooling all over it.
Yes. You've got the skeleton busy chomping at you. What you doing?
Oh, cool. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. You cut out there for a second. It's still glowing, am I correct?
Yes.
I would like to drive my fingers into its eye sockets and remove the head.
Nice. Make an attack.
I love how you want to be seen as a human so
Yeah.
bad, but you just like are just. I'm a human.
Yeah.
So I rolled a 22. So
That's a hit indeed. All right, so give me a strength check, please.
strength check with advantage or without.
With advantage.
Okay.
You have leverage.
22.
Well, so you just bury your fingers into its eye socket and you just pull up, and because you're leaning on it, you're using your own weight, you pull the head straight off, and the whole thing underneath you quivers for a second, and then it goes very, very still. So you're sort of left with the skull on the end of your fist, triumphant up in the air. The ship is incredibly quiet, apart from the sound of a dog happily chowing down on some bones. What you guys doing?
Ending the spell, so we don't glow as like a bad vampire movie anymore.
I would like to roll perception to see if we can hear chopping.
Aha. You don't have to roll perception. You can hear it.
Okay.
But
Time for the second course, huh?
the dog's tail, well, the wolf's tail is just wagging.
I go bounding down the staircase
All right,
towards the door to go down.
perfect. You
Alright,
get
he's
to the door. You push the door open, and
I sit and wait patiently
oh.
for the door to open.
What are you doing, Grunt?
All right, yeah, let's investigate.
All right, so
Investigating and following K9 here.
sure. Adim, you also following down?
Getting my weapon, then following.
All right, perfect.
Actually, no, I'm not gonna follow. I'm gonna make sure that the captain is alive and gonna make sure that the elf woman is alive.
Yes, she's shivering and shaking. Give me an insight check, please.
Inside 18.
18. She's pretending to be afraid.
Knew it.
You can see that
Well,
her shiver isn't consistent.
Well, our dog would say, "Never trust a bitch."
All right, so that's what you're seeing. You open up the door, Grunch.
I go bounding down ahead of him, and I have as a wolf, I have advantage on perception checks, so I'm
Right.
sniffing and seeking out whatever's causing trouble.
Sure. So to get to the kitchens, you go down a very short set of stairs to get into basically the lower hold of the ship. As you get to the bottom set of stairs, you can see that water is now starting to fill up this lower section of the ship. The cook, you can see, is standing basically in the middle of the ship and is busy hacking into the floor with that great big cleaver. And water is busy gushing up from underneath him.
Yep.
I can't talk.
I
So
guess.
just look around.
I guess is the chef? Is he dead? Is he skeleton chef now, or is he alive?
Skeletal. The only reason why you know it's the chef is because of the cleaver that it's busy slamming into the deck.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's a skeleton? Oh yeah, I'm going.
All right, so you just
Charging
leap into
in.
the water. Okay, the water comes up to your chest level because
Okay.
wolf size. Okay,
Wolf.
The chef doesn't turn around. He just carries on, sort of smacking into the deck. Grunch, what are you doing?
All right. I don't know how this interaction would be, but I want to know how this works if you dungeon master. So I will cast Hideous Laughter, or Tasha's Hideous Laughter, at the skeleton. Now this is a magic effect, so I have no idea.
Yes.
So I basically turn towards him and just shout out of the top of my lungs and said, like, "Your steak was tangy." So if this does anything at all, it would be a wisdom save if it even affects the skeleton.
So the cleaver is in mid-swing, and the wolf is busy charging through the water towards the chef. For a moment, it doesn't move. Then it turns to face you and, by default, the wolf. And it just lifts the cleaver back. It looks as if it's going to throw the cleaver at you, and then there's wolf in the face. Make your attack, Elion.
Okay, that's not bad. That's a 16.
16 is a hit. Do your damage.
Yes. 5.
5 damage.
5 points of piercing damage, and he needs to make a strength saving throw, or he's knocked prone.
Nice. His
DC 11.
Oh, okay, he makes it. He's quite a lot sturdier. His bones seem to be. He's big bone. Let's go with that.
Yeah, since that's the thing.
Yeah. Adim, what are you doing?
Well, I picked up my weapon and I, making no mention that I know that she is faking, I walk over and I said, Is she near a railing?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and she is
Prone.
laying on one side.
Yes.
Okay. I get on my knees next to her. I help her up, and I take her hands in mine.
Yes, she looks up at you with her big hazel eyes.
And with the arm that's under her hands,
yes,
I take a very strong grip of hers.
Yes.
And with my other arm, I lift it up to her throat and push her against the railing and yell at her, "What are you?"
Well, she's taken completely by surprise, so you kind of have her entrapped. And she looks up at you and she says, "I don't know what you mean. But before you do anything, I have a proposal for you. You are good people. And there is something on the island which only good people can get. I know where it is. I just need your help getting it."
What is the captain doing?
The captain is busy pulling on the wheel, and he's busy bringing the ship around so that it's moving away from the island.
Is it possible? Is it possible for me to just choke her unconscious? Like I don't want
That's
to.
the half-orc way to solve things. Yes.
All right, give me a medicine check.
I don't. A medicine check.
Yes.
Oh dear.
I have expertise in medicine. He doesn't.
That will be 14.
14. All right. So you start strangling her, effectively trying to cut the blood flow to the brain so she passes out. She's obviously going to start fighting back when she realizes what you're doing. You need to give me a strength check, please, but you have advantage. You need to beat 12.
I beat it 15, 16, 18.
18. So she's sort of struggling and trying to break out of your grip, but you just hold fast, and eventually her whole body just slumps. And when you relax a little bit, you can feel that she's breathing, but she's obviously unconscious.
Okay.
The captain looks over at you. "I usually just get them drunk first." Back to you two. Back to you two. The cleaver now gets thrown straight at you, Grunch.
Mm-hmm.
It gets very close. Do you move?
I will try to move up to him, seeing that he kind of is not affected by my spell, obviously. Trying to get to then tag team with Commissar Rex over here and bring him down.
All right. So as the cleaver sails towards you, you kind of move slightly sideways. It buries itself quite deeply into the wood behind you, and then you make up so that you're taking a flanking position with the wolf.
If possible.
Yes, absolutely. The corridor is wide enough for you to be able to move around and do that. Absolutely. You're going to make an attack?
If I can, yeah.
Yes, of course.
I don't know if you play with flanking rules giving advantage or not.
Yes.
Okay, in that case, it's a 16 to hit for 8 slashing points of damage.
Wow, nice. Your blade basically just slices through ribs and things, breaking bone, shattering stuff. It doesn't seem to have slowed him down too much. Elian?
I'm gonna go wolf on him. With advantage for also I have pack tactics, so that would give me advantage as well. But that is a 13 to hit.
That's a hit.
Awesome. All right. Whatever wolves sound like. 6 damage.
6 damage. All right. As you sort of laying into him, Grunch is slashing into the back of it. You grab hold of his spine and you do this head twist to kind of finish it off, and the spine snaps. The legs give out, and then this sort of skeleton just piles around you, so you're kind of covered in bones and things. It's like a happy place for wolves.
Yeah. In a pool as well, so
Yeah.
I'm just like splashing around, bobbing
And
for
I
bones.
smell wet dog.
Yes,
Thanks very
that's
much.
what you get. Wet dog is this dog who's sort of bouncing through the water, pulling out a bone that floats to the surface, and yeah.
Exactly.
The water is rising though quite quickly. It was below your chest.
Yeah.
Now it's sort of below your chin.
Yeah. All right. I take a look at my friend over here, Elian, and say, "Leslie, snap out of it! Come on, I need your help."
And then I'm gonna nod and I'm gonna drop wolf form, go back to druid form. I stand up and just kind of brush myself off.
Spit the bone out.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
the bone.
Yeah. So, like I look at Grunch. What are you looking at? Oh, sorry. Toss
All
it
right.
to the side.
So I kind of point at the torrent that is kind of seeping into the ship, and kind of look around and try to you got the wood, I got the metal, and I try to kind of move through the water, which is now a little bit harder, obviously, and move towards the cleaver and kind of pry it out of the door frame.
Yes.
And go back and start to cast a spell, which is heat metal on the metal of the cleaver, hopefully making it a little bit malleable, perhaps to kind of use, maybe to kind of, I don't know. Let's see what happens.
All right.
Does it seem like this is the only hole causing all of the flooding from this just skeleton?
Yeah, absolutely. And just by looking at it, it looks as if he's cut quite a wedge out of the bottom of the ship. But the wood is splintered all around because he's obviously just been smacking at the wood, sometimes hitting the same spot, sometimes missing it.
So with it being so flooded, does it even look like we can save this at all?
Well,
You're a druid. Sit up.
The hole is 15 centimeters in length, so what's that, 3 inches, give or take, 3-4 inches.
2.5 centimeters is a centimeter, right?
Is an inch, yeah. So it's a significant gash in the wood. Back to you, Adim.
It's gonna sound a lot worse. I'm going to go get some rope and just make sure that she can't cast any spells.
All right.
Like attempt to bind her hands in a way where she can't reach, like she can't touch her hands together or anything like that.
Kumquat. Right. If she says kumquat, you have to stop.
Oh dear.
All right, so that's what you're busy doing. It is.
Keep in mind, I know nothing about the hole in the bottom of the boat.
Correct. Back to you two. How are you gonna? So you've heated up this cleaver now. It's steaming with all of the water around. What's your plan?
My plan is, I don't know if Elian can do anything to the wood, but the idea would be to basically use it as it is hot. Metal also gets like weaker, and like you can kind of bend it maybe. And I would grab both ends, like burning myself, but like trying to pry it over a few like pieces of timber. Maybe, I don't know, like using it to bend it and kind of make a makeshift, at least make the hole smaller. If it's small enough, we might as well just like get the water out continuously, and that's okay, but we're not just like drowning in the middle of the dang ocean.
So I have mold earth as a cantrip.
Yeah.
And it mainly only works on dirt and stone, but I imagine there is like, first of all, is there any stone around?
There's no stone,
in this ship,
but there's lots of
that would be weird.
Bits of crumbly bone. There's bits of splintered wood, so we could count that as something that you could maybe work with.
Like there's some sediment that I could use to push these crumpled bones and splintered wood. I want to make a compact, 7-inch-ish blockage of this for him to shove this metal around and hopefully secure as much as possible.
All
So
right.
I'm just gonna kind of compact all this into the opening.
Okay. Combined, Grunch, you take 3 points of damage from the blade, the heat of the blade, as you push it into the water. There's a lot of hissing, steam is roiling around you. You're bringing together all these bones and things, and by packing it together, the water is no longer bubbling in. It's no longer forcing its way in, but you can feel there is still a small amount of water moving or seeping in. It's not a complete seal, but
Okay.
definitely nothing in comparison to what it was.
So it'll buy us time
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
All right. I'm ahead. I want to say to Grunch, maybe we should go back up and check on Adim.
Yeah, sure. That sounds like a plan. But we shouldn't leave this too long without supervision.
The captain turns and looks at you, Adim, and then looks at the girl, and then looks back at you, and then looks at the rope, and then looks back at you. I think we're taking on water. The ship is not responding as well as she should. Once you're finished with your conquest, wouldn't you go below and find out?
Sorry, I didn't catch that last bit.
Would you not go below and check it out?
I tell him to keep an eye on her and not let her cast any spells.
All right.
And I start heading down below.
Perfect. You three meet each other. You're coming up. You're going down. You meet each other without a problem.
We stopped the flow of water that was sinking us for now. How is the woman and the captain?
The woman I knocked out.
You did what?
She was faking her shivering. I don't think
She saved us?
Saved our lives, Adim.
I don't think she saved us. She made an offer before she lost consciousness for us to go onto the island and get something for her. This is not a coincidence. Her being here is not a coincidence. And I want to get the hell out of here.
You don't make any sense. Just try to shove him aside and trying to get up to our savior.
Do you let him push past, Adim?
No.
All right. Oppose strength checks if you're going to try and push past.
Can I try to wiggle my way through, past him, maybe?
All right, so you can give me acrobatics versus athletics.
Acrobatics?
Check.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I can do an acrobatics.
Yeah, because I know that I will not overpower him, so I just try to kind of basically...
14.
Step left.
No, you had me. You have me.
He knows.
You got me, bro.
He knows.
I'm just holding on to Grunch's shoulders and you need to listen to me. This is not okay. We need to do something about this.
Well, she saved our lives. If she needs help retrieving something, then I think it is our duty to repay her
She
for saving
killed
us.
At least hear her out.
on the ship by making us sail into the fog. She killed everyone but the captain that we saved.
She also saved our lives. We don't know what happened yet. I think we should at least give her an opportunity to explain herself. I mean, that is... anything else would be...
Fine.
Let's talk to her.
Let Grunch go.
Okay, so what I would do before we wake her up, though, is cast Friends on myself, which makes me so attractive and so nice and interesting and just very charismatic in general. Mechanically, it gives me advantage on charisma rolls.
Perfect. She is unconscious. As you walk up onto deck, though, the captain looks at you. Are we taking on water?
I'd step up and say, don't worry, Captain. We have at least bought us time. If we can get to the island over there, possibly we can You can do further repairs. We just did what we could.
I knew she was trouble. Women aren't allowed on ships. They bring bad luck. He starts throwing the wheel around and starting to bring the ship back towards the island.
Is the fog still
Now that
there?
the sun is mostly up, the fog has burnt off. It seems to have dissipated.
All right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because
Can I begin
otherwise I would
bandaging-
maybe say that's not
Yeah.
such
Yeah.
a good idea.
Can I begin bandaging some of my wounds by using my hit dice, since we're kind of up here
If you want
after
to,
the battle?
sure, we'll take a short rest.
Yes, please.
I
While
would-
we talk to this lady.
Yeah, like I would
Yeah.
want to speak to her and not let her hang in there. Like it's like, yeah, pirates be warned.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't take any damage hardly. Oh, okay.
With a 20 armor class, I'm not surprised.
But that was kind of the point, because my constitution isn't super high, but I have a lot of concentration spells.
Okay, yeah, so I bandage up most of my wounds. I'm looking a lot better.
A lot better.
I'll do the same.
All right, perfect. It's not difficult to rouse her. She was only...
I'm sure.
Yeah.
She's into things like this. Totally into it.
She looks up at the three of you. She grins firstly at Elion, and then her grin drops when she sees Adim, and then she smiles again when she sees Grunch. I totally understand your caution.
So,
Start talking.
tell
Quick.
us, who are you really? And I get like the book underneath the
Yes.
pelts I'm wearing out and say like, and open it up and says, this does not make any sense. And he wants to kill you. Maybe that's a lie, maybe not, but I'm just saying that.
But we want to help you. You saved us. Tell us more about you so we can trust you better.
Exactly.
My real name is Seska, and I am from a ship that was sailing past this doomed place several years ago. We happened to stop, and we discovered a remarkable device that has been left behind here. Have you heard of the paladin known as Uthar Pendaris? Any of you
I have
may-
expertise in history.
Yeah, you can give
Maybe-
me a history
oh.
check or a religion check to know the name.
18?
All right. The paladin Uthar Pendaris was a paladin of the god that is a protective god. In this case, the god Brax. He sacrificed himself to defeat a rather vicious dark creature known as Dematos Ertid, a particularly vicious air elemental / demon kind thing. Uthar, in his final battle with it, had to sacrifice himself to effectively destroy the demon, or so the rumors and history goes. Uthar was supposedly given a magical sword by Brax himself to finally defeat this creature with, but neither the sword nor the final resting place of Uthar was ever discovered.
Until now.
What makes you think it's on the island?
I've seen it.
You've been there.
Yes. The ship I was with, we stopped, we investigated. This island is on no other map.
Would like to make an insight check.
Sure.
And that's 15.
From what you can tell, she's telling the truth. The way that she's not hesitating with her answers, the way that her eyes move in memory of what she's seen, you think she's telling the truth.
Okay.
We could not get to the sword, however, because, well, we were running out of supplies and had to leave. But since then, I have done everything in my power to return to this island. And I had hoped to find noble warriors who might join me in retrieving the sword of Uthar Pendarus.
I asked the captain how many crewmen he had.
There was a total of 9 crew, including the chef.
Well,
That's 9 crewmen dead.
I would nod and say yes. If you search for heroes to retrieve this artifact, why all these charades? Why all this subterfuge?
If I was to wander around any of the cities of Brax saying, I know where the sword of Uthar Pendarus is, I need some heroes, do you honestly think that I would have escaped with my life with that kind of knowledge? The power that the sword has is rumored to be of Brax himself. Every treasure hunter would be after it. I could not go on a direct route to employ individuals. But please don't think that I had anything to do with the fog or with the undead creatures. That I did not know. We arrived during the day. I didn't know that there was a fog of this kind here.
No, that is something that I want to take an insight check on if I can.
Sure.
Like if I see if this. Do I have advantage on it? No, I don't think so. That would be a 5 because otherwise it would be that 20.
Yes, no, she.
Luck of the dice.
She seems very sincere.
Yes.
And it does make
Seska.
sense. Yep. Yes.
Seska, why do you seek this blade? What would you do with it if we found it?
The blade of Uthar Pendarus, as blessed by Brax, I would use it for good, obviously. The blade has tremendous power, and there are many wrongs in this world, are there not?
There are, but I often find power corrupts good intention.
This is the blade of a god, the god of goodness and life. I do not believe it will corrupt.
Elian, may I have a word?
Yes, you may. And as I walk away, I also want to insight check her on that statement. On
Gotcha.
She wants to do good. That's very important to me. This is like what hinges my decision. That is 15.
You get a sense that her definition of good is probably closer to your definition of evil than actual good.
I give her this one. I give her this one.
In D&D terms, good lies in the eye of the beholder. Huh?
Yes, so many eyes to bend.
Beholder, where? Just kidding. I'll walk with the Dean since he pulled me to the side.
All right.
Yeah.
Elian, there is no good here. There has been only death, and from what I see, only greed. We have nothing to gain from helping her. The only thing we might get from helping her is death. And I very much would like to keep on living, as I'm sure would you.
Am I included in this discussion?
You can.
If you want to be.
All right. Then I would say, I nod and say, like, I do not know her intentions, but her way of operating seems suspect to me. I still think the being open for up front would have been better for everybody. This isn't sitting right for me, but I disagree with leaving this artifact alone. There would be other crew members. There will be other people that know, and this is history in the making. We should retrieve the sword.
My thought process is similar to yours. However, the making of history is something I'm not concerned with. I'm more concerned with her already knowing it is here. If we do not retrieve this sword for ourselves to protect it or get it into the right hands, then I believe that eventually she will have it. or some other person searching for it. And since we are taking on water, and I and I look at the captain now steering us still continuously towards the island.
Yeah.
It seems we are without choice of taking on land. So perhaps we should attempt to retrieve this sword, if only to keep it in the hands of good people.
That just leaves one question left then. What to do with this woman?
I will give her a chance to redeem herself or repent for her evil intention.
You will give her a chance to get the sword and stab us in the back.
History tells many tales, and you can learn from it. Giving quarter is a dangerous thing, but, well, who are we? Are we better if we don't give chances to people? I do not know.
Agreed. I believe she deserves a chance. I have seen live branches grow from dead trees.
Nine men, nearly 10, died here today. Those 9 men died, and then we had to kill them again. Now, I am very much not looking towards to becoming a dead man and then trying to drag someone else's entrails out. So if you want to go onto land, you may do so. If you get stabbed in the back, it will be none of my concern. I am not dying because of this.
That is fine. But I have trust that we will be safe. I don't fear she'll betray us. She has shown good already by saving us, and I think the greater good of us finding this sword is more important than us abandoning this opportunity.
I would say we are now cautious, and also until the status quo changes, meaning we find the sword, she will work with us. However, when we find it, then the critical moment will appear.
She will reveal her true self.
All right, you all gain inspiration for that. That was a lovely moment of negotiations. You turn back to her. What do you say to her?
I motion over to Grunch.
I would sit down in front of her and cut her loose from her ropes, and kind of sit down and squat a little bit before and look her in the eyes as I say, "Very well, for the good of the realms and the continuation of the written word and spoken word, we will help you." Now, and I kind of turn around to the captain, and I would say, is it Orthak? Was it Orthak? Orthal?
Orthak?
Orthak. Orthak, bring us ashore. We have business to attend to.
Yes, because we're not going anywhere else unless it's down under. She stands. I am very appreciative of the trust. I understand there were circumstances that may have given you pause for thought, she says, looking very purposefully at you, Adim. But...
Pause for thought? Jesus. 9 dead men. Pause for thought. I spew some curses in Orcish at her.
Absolutely not seeming like an orc at all.
Don't care anymore. I don't care anymore.
All right. The ship takes a few moments, well, it takes an hour to eventually get to a point where the captain is satisfied that the beach underneath is definitely stable enough that if the ship were to sink any lower, it would settle down safely and not fall over onto either side. The terrain you look at, you can now see quite clearly. This island was there is no ways that this island has been exposed to an atmosphere. This has been a submerged piece of terrain for a very long time. There is seaweed everywhere. There are barnacles and sea urchins on the dunes that form the beach head almost. The way that the sand is aligned, it looks as if it's come from the bottom of the ocean. And it looks as if it came from the bottom of the ocean yesterday. This has not been exposed to air for long.
Okay. As soon as we stop, I'm say, look towards the Shajet, Seska. Shall we?
Yes.
Lead the way.
I will indeed. You climb down the side of the ship using various ropes and things. You land in the knee-deep water, wade ashore. Again, your suspicions are confirmed. There is still a slimy veneer over the surface of the sand where basically the algae and stuff hasn't yet dried up.
Mm-hmm.
It is not far from here. We need simply to go up towards those mountains. And in the distance, 2-3 miles from the shoreline, you can see that there's a series of those very curved, spiked mountains. One of them almost looks, if you kind of look at it from this angle, it almost looks like a sword being raised into the air. Just because of the way that it's been weathered and that kind of thing, it almost looks like a sword raised upwards, striking down into the heart of these this mountain range. The movement
Now,
is not
while we are en route, I would kind of, while we're moving, take aside each one of them on their own at some point of time, and basically relay the information that if push comes to shove, that I have a way with dealing with casters in general. However, we need to restrain her movement, and we would need to keep her in a certain area. So I don't know if there are any things that you could do with it, kind of. I mean,
as you have seen, I should be able to take care of that.
All right.
Just mentioning that I never planned to come along with you, but before you left, I would like to speak with the captain.
Yes.
In Orcish, and ask how bad is the damage to the ship.
I will probably take about half a day to repair it, and then half a day to pump out the water that's in the hold. Cargo is ruined, of course. But given that fog at night, I think we'll be here at least 24 hours.
So we could rest before we leave then.
It's up to you.
We could.
The fog might just come out at night and we'll be goners.
Yeah, it's the only thing I'm nervous about.
I am pretty sure that we will be protected through the night, at least before. She cannot sail the ship on her own.
There wasn't fog on the peaks of the mountains, correct?
Also true.
Well, higher up. Okay. Well, I relay this information to the captain and say that if it's becoming nighttime, the fog might rise again, so he should be ready to get as high up as he can as fast as possible. Also, to answer his question why I could speak Orcish, I just kind of drag my lip aside and let him see the place where an orc's tusk would be, and see that it's not there.
Why would you hide your Orcish heritage? Surely hiding your human heritage would be better.
Let's just say it's complicated.
I see. All right, well, I'll continue the repairs. So, are you going to then have a long rest first?
I think we're good to move right now. I don't know how
Yeah,
Elian feels, but I think I'm good. And I would ask Adim again if he wants to accompany us or not. Like
I will reject it, but I will follow behind, like without letting them know that I'm there. I'll just follow them.
So you're saying no, you're not going, and then as soon as they've moved away, then you start following behind them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me a stealth check, please, as the rest of the group starts moving up the hill.
With advantage or without?
Without.
Okay.
Oh, that's not good.
Squelchy mud everywhere.
19.
6.
Oh. Well, you definitely not quite at all, but you don't know that Adim is following behind. The pathway leads between the mountains and winds its way deeper into that cusp, that circle of hills. And as you're going higher up, you realize that there's less and less seaweed, sea urchins. There is less and less life as you're going closer to the central space.
this is obvious.
Yes.
Okay, again, kind of speaking in this case, well, just with Elian since he's with me, kind of turning towards him and saying like, magic sword of Brax, the god of protection. Kind of looking around, seeing the death.
Maybe. Or maybe just the terrain here. Can I look around and just see if even this land would be appropriate to have life within it? I mean, would this even?
Well, it's very, very difficult to find land that doesn't support some form of life, but the lower edges on the beaches, there was lots of seaweed, there were sea sponges. It looked as if there was a lot of sea life there. As you're making your way higher and higher up, literally it's becoming difficult to now see anything growing, any kind of life. It's just the sludge, rock, and then these great big curving mountains.
And kind of putting it out there, making it pretty clear what my suspicions are, is that this is not a sort of life, but rather death. Right? As we get closer to it, it is not life that springs, but death that comes.
Am I able to hear them speak, since there should be next to no sound?
I would be very silent to not make her hear what I say.
Oh, okay.
Right? So
Yeah, I give you a nod and say let's just keep our wits about us.
All right. The journey takes another hour as you make your way deeper and deeper and deeper into the mountain ranges. You pass a very large and very old statue. It is a likeness. It is a human who's wearing quite heavy plate mail and has this large bastard sword in one hand and a massive kite shield in another. And there was an inscription on the front of this statue long ago. The statue stands about 25 feet tall, so it's a high statue. But the inscription has long since corroded and eroded away.
would I know what it pictures?
Yes.
From like tales old?
This is definitely the paladin Uthar Pindaris, without doubt.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Another hour and another shrine. This time it is of a creature that has two sets of wings sticking out of its back. Its head looks more like a horse's head with great fangs sticking out the front of it, curled horns on either side of it. Its legs are hooved, and it has this large tail protruding out the bottom, which ends in this flail-like shape. Its inscription is also erased, but it would fit the description of Dementos Ertid.
That's the demon that Uthar.
A wicked chimera.
The Sajet turns to you. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. As she's turning to address us, I say to Grunch, I don't know what we're going to find on this path, but I know it'll be exciting.
And history. Important for the history.
And as she walks up, I turn and listen to her.
We're really close. I don't know what to expect. I followed this path once before. It was, like I said, a few years ago. There should be the sword of Brax. Our goal is just to get that. I think anything else should be secondary, yes?
Agreed.
Okay, so just from remembering the stories about this heroic tale,
Yes.
when Uther slew the Chimera,
Yes.
or the air elemental
Yeah,
/
demon thing,
devil
yes.
thing, yes. Is it said that it is destroyed or banished, and anything mentioned about how it is banished and kept from being banished? That is where my thoughts are kind of wandering now.
The main tale of the battle between Uthar Pendarus and Dementos Arti was that the two of them were consumed by this eternal hatred for one another, representing the exact opposite poles. And the final battle, the blade that Brax gave Uthar allowed him to defeat the demon, but both of them were lost in the battle. Where that battle took place, nobody knows. It's not recorded in history.
And what exactly happened as well is
Correct.
unknown.
Unknown.
All right, I'm not worried at all.
Onward then.
All right. Adim, you are passing these exact same statues, still keeping your distance. All right. Eventually, you come over a small rise, and in front of you is this very circular depression, which is ringed by a crown of these jagged mountain shapes. In the very center of this depression, there is what looks to be a large black stone. The stone, almost from up here, looks humanoid in its very bizarre kind of melted way. In the very center of the stone is this brilliantly silver sword, half buried into the stone. And from underneath the stone, you can see there is some amount of, it almost looks like gas slowly seeping out from underneath the stone.
And of course, it's black and looks very delicious and not noxious at all.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, I get the picture. I get the picture.
There is
Can I make
sword.
a? Can I? I want to look out and just kind of around the area, see if I can see any enemies on a perceive
Okay.
area.
Give me a perception check.
Well, 10.
10. Again, no life whatsoever. There's a faint whistling of the wind through the stones, and the smell that now starts to permeate. It was mud. Now there's a slight ammonia type of scent in the air. Very, very subtle, but it's definitely there.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
Too quiet.
Since I
You
said,
just had to say it.
since I said that this would be where the cookie crumbled, so to speak, I would be very focused on what this woman is doing now and how she is reacting. If she's like going for the sword right away, if she's like looking around, if she expects us to do anything.
Yes, she's basically looking at you two and then looking at the sword. Go and get it.
Kind of look at her and says, "And you wanted the sword, did you not?"
I don't have the strength to pull it from the stone.
Well, looking at my stat sheet here. Kind of cocking a little bit and looking around, and I just said, and I got what I came for here. I wanted to see the situation. I am interested in history. I know it now, and I'm not sure if you're telling the truth.
But there is the sword of Brax. How can you still doubt me? The
I
shrines.
don't doubt your words. I doubt your intentions.
I don't even want the sword. That's why I'm letting you go and get it, to show you that I am not evil. I don't understand what I have done to make you think anything otherwise.
You lied to us. For starters.
She tries to place her hand on your arm, Elion. Do you allow her to?
I don't. I want to step back. And as she reaches for me, I say, I will go to the sword, but you will come with us. You will be right next to us. And if this is some sort of trap, you will be caught in the jaws of it as well.
Do you forget that I saved you from the fog? I was willing to sacrifice myself
No, I don't
so that
forget,
you could live.
which is why I trust you.
You have a very strange way of showing it. But all right, I will come with you. I don't have a problem. Adim?
Meanwhile, I assume I'm hearing this. It appears to be a
Yes.
slightly heated discussion.
Yes.
I would like to follow behind, maybe try and gain some higher ground, and I will ready my bow and an arrow, just in case.
All right, that's easy enough. I mean, there's plenty of rock that hangs over the crater, and as if they're going to head down into the crater, you're going to have a much greater height advantage. Absolutely. All right, so you're starting to move around that way. Well, lead the way, or should I lead the way? She says, and she takes a step towards the crater edge.
Go right ahead. I'll follow. I want to keep my eye on her as she's walking.
This is such a bad idea. All right, sure.
Oh,
I don't
wait.
know. I don't know everything, so.
But it will be exciting.
So what I will do, however, is as she walks there, I will, before we grasp the sword, and while she stands there, I don't know if anything happens before, but that's before we can then get things going. I just want to mention it is I will cast silence in the area we are standing.
All right.
If that kind of happens the way I described it, obviously. But that is my plan.
Sure. As you approach the stone, the scent of ammonia gets stronger, and it doesn't start to burn your nasal passages in your eyes yet, but it's definitely leaking or seeping out of the ground around this humanoid-shaped rock. She gets towards the rock. She stands next to it. There's the sword.
Can I see if this? What kind of gas? Can I maybe see what kind of gas this is? Being kind of one with nature.
Yeah, you can give me a nature check.
Okay. 11.
I have expertise. Maybe I do.
Sure, you can.
Nature. No.
No.
11.
11.
At least we're consistent.
Yes.
Will it be possible for me to roll the same check?
You can't
given
smell
how
the
far
gas.
away we are.
Yeah, no, you can't smell the gas from up here. You're seeing them all arriving at this statue. This blackened shape with the sword in it. The smell. Both of you are convinced this is not a natural gas. This usually would be sulfur that would be boiling out of if it's like a lava field or a mud field.
Yes.
Ammonia is very strange.
Basically, this is bad mojo, right? That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
That's your interpretation.
Question.
Yes.
How long does the bonus we can use from Bardic Inspiration last?
It's gone 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's gone. I actually do want to, if I can. Adim, did you have anything else you want to do?
Nope. I'll just take aim and be ready to fire at any given moment.
Who are you aiming at?
At the woman.
All right.
Whatever her name is.
How wide is this stone that the sword is, or this humanoid statue? How big is it?
It's about 15 foot from the bottom to the top.
Okay. Where's the sword in relation? Is it like right in the middle in the stone?
It's slightly higher up. If this was a human, it would be piercing the heart area, kind of.
Okay, I would like to use my mold earth cantrip,
Yeah.
and I want to see if I can. I want to see if I can just shatter the like break apart the stone holding this sword, like right where it is.
All right. Would you
And
please?
it says,
Yeah.
oh, it just says it says loose earth. So I'm basically just trying to break it apart enough to, essentially make cracks in it so the sword can fall out. Hopefully, I don't know.
Sure. As you cast the spell, there is a cracking and a grinding, and then the top of this thing shatters outwards. And what it reveals is that the blackened substrate is just ancient compacted mud. And underneath that, what has been revealed where the sword is pierced is it looks to be like red scales.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. Well,
What are you
what is
doing?
this?
Do I see this as well?
Yes.
I assume. Then
I
I would
assume
just,
I see it too.
I just would turn towards her and saying like, and what does he mean to you?
I She takes a few steps away from the two of you with her hands up.
All right, that is when I cast my
Oh.
silence on her. No, that's it. That's it. Stay still. No.
Why, Seska? Why?
Yeah, it could have been a nice time under deck, but no. Murderous spark must appear. Okay.
All right,
That's
so
my.
you
As she
cast
steps away,
silence.
that's my.
Yes.
Yeah, as she steps away, that's the sign for me that this negotiation is over.
Over.
She's been caught. She's been caught, at least she feels been caught. That's what I gather here, and that's why
Wow,
immediately.
okay.
I mean, just from doing this cast, you would realize it's all the components. So I would need to speak. I would need to use like material. So this would be obvious to her and obvious to Ilian that I usher the sound of my ancestors, and then when I open my mouth, just the sound just disappears as I say, and I will cast silence smackdown centered on her. But since that's a 20-foot radius, I assume that we are still in basically, and then you basically would fall deaf to your ears as we're standing in there, and then I will just charge her and try to restrain her, not necessarily strike her, but restrain her.
So you cast out the silence spell. She's raising her hands. Elian, are you doing anything?
I'm conflicted. I don't want to assault her, but as Grunch charges, I just kind of watch him and I look up at the sword,
Sure.
and I'm thinking really hard about that sword right now.
Adim, you're seeing Grunge just charging towards her. The weird thing is that you could hear them talking quite well, actually, because of the shape of the crater. And then all of a sudden it just went very, very quiet after the bard screamed out some ancient barbarian.
I assume since we have been adventuring together, we do know each other's tricks.
Yes.
Okay, in that case, well, shooting at the woman would be a bad idea, so I'm gonna let Crunch take care of that. I will, however, keep an eye on Elian.
Shiny things,
Shiny
my
sword.
precious.
All right, Grunge, give me your attack, because she's not going to.
Yeah, so I will try.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I will try. I will try to like. I will. This is not going to end well because I'm stuck at this. But I will try to grapple her. So that means that she can try to oppose it with an acrobatics or athletics. But I need to roll athletics, which I am absolutely genius at. Obviously, I knew this all along. 18.
Oh wow, nice.
That's one above the max, one below the max that I can do.
You slam into her and you just tackle her to the ground. She lands. She's busy spewing out something. She's shouting something, but
I don't hear it.
You can't hear it. Yeah. It's so surreal the way that you land, and there's no sound whatsoever. No stones, nothing. Elian?
I reach up and
Yeah.
I say, "This could be my only chance.
This is fun.
Once in a lifetime." I reach up, grab the sword, and yank it down.
Okay, as you
Yank it
grab
down.
the sword, Adim, you had an action ready. What you doing? He's gonna
I will shoot Elian.
Yeah, nice.
make your attack. Elian,
Can I get advantage?
Uh,
I mean, he doesn't know where you
yeah,
are, right?
he
So
doesn't have a
Shooting
clue.
me?
Yes,
Shooting
he
me?
is.
I will try and not do any lasting damage.
Yeah.
as I kill you.
It's in my neck.
Oh
Very
my
cool.
god.
So, meaning by yanking down, did you mean that you want to pull it or you want to
Out of
push
the,
it in?
well, he said it was in the chest, right?
Yeah.
So I pulled it out of the chest.
Out of the
17.
chest. All right.
17.
So you grab it,
17.
basically.
Yeah, that's a hit on Elian.
I grab it.
All right.
That is
Do
a hit.
damage.
Oh.
Okay.
1,000,000 points of damage.
Yeah.
1 would be good.
2 actually.
Two.
But
Yes!
I can't do any lower.
All right.
This was a flesh wound.
As you grab the hilt of the
All
sword,
right.
this arrow
Nice.
comes out of nowhere and just skims across
Yep.
the top of your bicep and then shatters itself against the ground.
Okay, yeah, you don't hear me cry out in pain
No.
because I'm silenced. But I'm holding the sword. Does anything happen?
Oh, so you're going to pull the sword out. All right.
Totally.
All right. As you pull the blade out, you feel this infusion of power just flowing through you. And as you look at Grunch, you can see that there is some goodness about him. But when you look at Seska, you see her just wreathed in this black energy.
Wow. Okay, so I look at the sword, and I look back at Seska, and well, I guess I can't say it, but I think to myself, for the greater good. And I charge forward, sword in hand, ready to slash down on Seska.
Who's kind of getting cover from Grunch at the moment, but sure. Yes, you're kind of positioning yourself. Okay, that takes us back to the top.
Yep.
Grunch.
I will now try to, now that I've grappled her, to push
Yes.
her on the ground. That's another grapple check, basically.
Yes.
Opposed by her stuff. So since I am that athletic, apparently, still pretty good with 16.
16. All right. You just throw her down onto the ground. It's really easy. She doesn't seem to be resisting you. She is, however, smiling.
Yeah. Well, that's not unexpected at all.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I am obviously in character. I am like what's happening as I push her on the ground. Seemingly, I've got this under control, guys.
You see Elian walking over with this silver sword in his hand. All right, Adim, you are seeing the black figure. That mud is starting to crack in all different directions from the center.
Well, we
where
don't
the
hear
sword
it,
was
so.
put. You don't hear it. That's why you don't see it. Yeah.
Am I seeing it just crack, or am I seeing a bit of what's underneath?
At the moment, it's just busy cracking.
I ready another arrow, and I'm not gonna risk shooting at anyone at this moment in time.
Elian?
Yes. Now that she's pushed down to the ground, can
Yes.
I get a clear
You
shot?
have advantage.
You
You have
do,
advantage
indeed,
on
but
your
she
attack.
is currently smiling and looking directly at you.
At me?
Yeah.
Okay. Her smile is betrayed by the wreathing evil energy around her as I slash down with my newly acquired blade of Uthar. I rolled a. Oh wait, this is a melee attack, so it'd be 12 plus what? 13.
13. She's not moving anyway. You hit her. Do your damage.
Okay. What? Do you know what kind of damage dice this
It's
sword
a
would
D8.
use? D8.
D100,
Yeah.
of course.
4d20. All right. That's 3 points of slashing damage.
All right.
Yeah, got him. Got the evil where it hurts.
As you slide
That's
the
cool.
blade in, you hit her just above the shoulder, and as you slide the blade in, you see the flesh around the blade starting to turn black. You're also seeing this as well, Grunge. You literally, it's blackening and almost pulling away from the blade itself, as if the flesh is trying to get away from this magical
Absolute
device.
magical sword.
Yeah.
Yes.
She continues to laugh, but you can see that she's in pain. But it's a joyful pain, perhaps?
Yeah.
She's a loony.
Yeah.
She's gonna say kumquat anytime soon. I get it.
Nope. Yes, Adim.
Question.
Yeah.
There is no sound.
No sound.
No sound in the crater.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So they can't hear anything that's inside or outside.
Correct. You're now watching chunks of that black mud fall down and reveal more red scales and things inside.
Oh no! I just realized what's happening.
Now you did.
I will still.
I thought that was on purpose.
I will still do nothing
All right.
for now.
Grunge.
Yeah, I'm holding her down. Now that
Sure.
I have her on the ground, I'll try to stab her with my sword and finish her off, since she seems to enjoy that very much.
So-
Yeah, hit her for 7 slashing.
You hit her. Do your damage.
7.
Oh, for 7. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I mean, 23 hits, alright? I mean,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah,
just
yeah,
assume
yeah.
23 is.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's so
You know, I've always wondered what Dumatas looks like.
yeah.
Now I'm standing here, becoming the destroyer of worlds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So you slide your blade deeper into her belly, and you pull it out. There's no blackening. There's just blood and guts that sort of spray. She can't laugh very much anymore because she is literally dying. Elian?
Okay, she is dying.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to end it.
All right.
I am beside myself with. And how do I feel? So, like, I see her as evil.
Yes.
I see Grunch as good. I feel like I'm. How does it feel to me? Do I feel good?
Yes. You feel as if you're doing the right
Okay.
thing. Yes. Yes.
Okay. I mean, I was sent out to rid the world of creatures like this. So, I rolled a natural 20 with advantage still.
Yeah.
Is it still advantage?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
she's
a
on the
natural
ground.
20.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I guess she's dead.
Finally.
That's 10 points of damage
All right.
for the crit.
You just bring the sword down and you just cut her head off. And as the blade slices through her neck, most of the top of her head just turns black, and the veins pump black coloration underneath the skin. The body twitches once or twice and then lays absolutely still. Adim, you see this arm now breaking out of the black rock, and another arm breaks out. The two of you aren't aware of it because it's happening behind you.
Mm-hmm.
How long does the silence spell last?
Oh, 10 minutes.
You're like,
It's a concentration spell, right? But
Oh, good. It's
It's-
already been 6 seconds. It's
Yeah.
almost over.
we nearly done it, boys.
I'm thinking, is there anything?
So
It's a confusing situation, to say the least.
use your head like last time.
Use your head. I love how we don't even know you're there.
Are
But
there
we don't need
any? Are there any kind of boulders I could get rolling?
yes, there's plenty of loose stones.
Like anything actually bigger that might immediately get their attention?
Yeah, there are
I
a
mean, we
couple-
don't hear anything.
There are a couple of football-sized stones that are lying around that you could quite easily sort of chuck in the direction. Otherwise, they start getting bigger, and because they're jagged, they don't look like they'll roll very well. But there are a couple that you could pick up and literally lob at them, or in their general direction anyway.
Do I have any chance of causing a landslide?
Give me a survival check.
$23.
There is one of the pinnacles of rock that curve outwards. You see has a large crack running across its base. You may be able to somehow cause that crack to finish completely through, and then that will cause that one to collapse sideways, which may cause the one it falls onto to collapse inwards as well. That's about the best you're going to get. But that could be a catastrophic amount of stone landing in the crater.
Okay, for now, I will, I suppose, just grab a stone big enough to attract their attention and lob it at them, and when they turn to look at where it came from, I will point to behind them.
Hopefully. All right, who are you throwing at?
Just like in front of them.
All right. Okay, that's easy
Basically.
enough. You don't have to give me a roll for that. The two of you are standing there looking at this body as it's slowly turning black, and the next minute this rock lands about a foot away from you. You both look behind you, and for a moment you see a dim sort of exactly right, and then you see this head and neck rising out of the blackened rubble with these curved horns and these fiery red eyes, and the arms are busy pulling it out of this mess, but it's absolutely silent.
I know.
It's really creepy.
Yeah.
That's a good sign, I think.
I look at Grunch, and I look at. So now we see this creature emerging.
That's it.
All right.
Okay, I tell you what I'll do. As I see this creature emerging, I'll just look at it and just like clamber up and try to run.
All
I'm
right.
trying to get away from this crazy Death Island demon thing.
Where will you go?
Away.
Swim?
Get away.
Yes.
All right, you're running.
What do I see?
I don't
when
think
look at
rational
this?
right now. I'm like fearful.
When you see this creature rising, you literally just see this pure black shape moving almost over this creature, and you feel the hand that's holding the sword. You almost feel it being pulled towards the creature itself. Adim,
Okay.
you see Grunch just start running.
Yeah, I'm done here. I fear for my life, and I don't think rational anymore. It's just like, oh shit, I'm dead. Let's get on.
I have squared up against this creature, and I am just standing in front of it.
I am going to get to work on that landslide.
All right.
It doesn't look like, an arrow would really help against that,
Pling.
Yes. Okay. Are you still concentrating on the silence spell?
I guess I lost my concentration. That's like not concentrating. Concentrating
Not
on something else. Like, no. You just see me. Oh shit! As I just like run away. No.
As sound sort of washes around you, you can hear bits of stone still breaking and falling off of this thing as it's opening up its wings. It looks down at you, Elian, almost quizzically, and says, "You do not have the power to wield that blade, boy. You will surrender now."
Okay. That's
Okay.
Okay.
I look at the blade in my hand and I look back up at this creature and I say, my calling is to end evil plaguing this mother's world. And you are a blight upon this land. May I drive you back into the hole from hell from whence you crawled.
That is
And
unlikely.
I'm okay. I mean, I'm gonna cast something if I can.
Sure. We're going into initiative. Everyone roll initiative, please.
Okay.
Oh, my word. We need to see how far you get, Crunch.
6.
Mm-hmm.
6 for Adim.
21.
You get far.
12 for Elion.
12 for Elian. All right. Grunch, you're going first. You're hearing this thing talking behind you.
Yes, I
You're
am
at-
going.
All right, you get to the edge of the crater. It's easy to find the path that goes back towards the ship. You're just moving double speed, double time.
Yes,
All
as
right.
double as I can.
All right, perfect. You're running flat out. Elian, you're up.
Okay, I will cast Flaming Sphere, and I'm gonna cast it with my Harvester's Scythe ability for my circle to add 3d10 extra damage. So the creature needs to, this ball. So I am holding the sword and I reach out with my other hand, and that hand has the tattoo of my circle. That is the focus of all of my druidic power. I reach out and a ball of flame just erupts next to this thing. It needs to make a dexterity saving throw. DC 13.
It fails.
Okay, so it takes 2d6 plus 3d10. Yeah, just make sure I got that right. Harvester Scythe. Yeah, I can spend. Oh no, 2d10. I can't spend all three of them at once. I can spend 2d10. So for the 2d6, it is 9 points of fire damage.
Sure.
And then as the ball of fire explodes, there are these like blades that kind of erupt from it and just slash down as if like nature is curving this element. And that's extra d10. All right, plus an extra 6 points of damage.
15 in total. All right.
Yep. And this flaming sphere is still there. It's going to stay like right next to it and it just whirls about next to the creature.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Adim, give me. You're busy working at that crack, right?
Yeah, and I would also like to have. I have discarded my bow.
Sure.
I have my short sword ready on my side, and I have my bagpipes ready. While I'm working very hard to get that landslide.
All right. You realize that you can actually use that short sword as leverage, and if you slide it into the crack, you can kind of start to work it. You need to
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
a strength check, please.
Okay. 17.
17. All right. You start to move it. You realize it's going to take you a few rounds, but you think this is going to happen. The rock is really, really brittle. It's a shale type of rock. It's definitely going to go down. It's going to take you a little bit of time. Yep.
How if I want to use my inspiration, how long? Like, what kind of an action can I do? Like, is it just one round or?
So what I allow with inspiration is you can do a reroll of a roll as well, if you want, and then you take the higher of the two. That would be the most useful here for you, I think, in terms of using inspiration.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
The creature now acts, and it steps through your flaming sphere, and the flames sort of boil around it. It doesn't even seem to notice them. And one of its arms, it just slams down at you. It hits you.
Doing 2 points of damage. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong here.
If only.
I don't think so. All right, you take 12 points of damage. And you need to give me a strength check, please. And your strength check is against 18. Yeah?
That puts me down to 0, actually.
Ah.
So that one hit, I am knocked out.
All right. So
about these several rounds that you still think you have to do that landslide.
So the creature just slaps you down. Just so much power. Blackness just immediately surrounds you. Would you roll a percentile die for me, please? Give me a 100% roll.
Okay. 2d10 here. All right, it's a 4 and a 0, so a 4 and a 10. So what is that?
All right.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that little roll. Back to top of the round. Grunch,
I'm running.
You're still running?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm out of here.
You're clearing the second shrine that was a shrine to the
I don't care.
demon. Yeah. Yeah, shrine, history, not important. Keep going. I will not be a footnote. All right. Adine, give me another strength check, please. You see Elion just being battered aside by this creature as if he wasn't even there.
Question. They are in the middle of this crater valley thing,
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Is Elion's unconscious body or dead body still in the middle?
Yes.
Okay. So a strength check?
Yes.
I'll be fine.
Very weak.
Yeah.
Fine.
That's the thought, right?
8.
8. I think. The thing is, I really want to use that inspiration for something else. So I think it will have to be 8 for now.
All right. Well, you are busy trying to move your sword around, but it slips out of the crack. It doesn't really do very much to it whatsoever. The creature steps over Elion's body. It looks up and sees you amongst the rocks, busy trying to work this thing down. And it has this braying laugh of contempt that you would try and drop this mountain on it, as if that would stop it. That's kind of what its laughter conveys, right? Elion, you were not aware of anything the moment you were knocked unconscious. You were brought to exactly 0, am I correct?
Exactly 0.
Okay, perfect. So Suddenly you find yourself standing in this grey space. It's just grey everywhere. There's slight darkness to the floor. And this very large man in full plate mail, he's got quite a large beard, comes walking up to you. He has a kindly face, but it's covered in scars from battle. I am impressed by the fact that you tried to go up against a demon, and yet you have never fought demons before.
No, I haven't. But it is my job to get the weeds out of the crops of life. And it stood as a weed.
He chuckles. You clearly have a warrior's spirit about you, if perhaps the strength of, well, a pup. But I am impressed. If I were to return you to the battle, what would you do?
Die.
my strength being my own, my attacks hardly scratch the beast. I would be just as determined to give my life again to down this fiend, if need be.
And what of your companions? The one left the moment you were confronted by this evil. The other seeks to drop a mountain upon you and it. What would you speak of them?
I would say that when the wind blows, leaves choose their own path. And I choose to stand strong against the gusts of demonic entities, and I will let them blow where they may, and I will stay strong in my stance to defend life at all costs.
Oh, fucking druids and your analogies. Yes, yes, yes. Leaves in the wind. All that nonsense. All right. But would you vouch for them?
I would. I've traveled with them long enough. I know that their hearts are good. I even saw them wreathed in an energy that told my being on the inside that I know they are good and have good hearts. So I would vouch for them.
He waves his hand, and suddenly the floor almost becomes like glass. And you see a top-down view as if you're an eagle flying over the terrain of Grunch just running as fast as he can. He's kicking up little stones and flecks and skidding on bits of seaweed as he comes round the corner. You are vouching for that?
There's a season and a time for everything. This may not be.
This is why I don't have druids as followers.
Season. I would vouch for him.
And then he waves his hand again, and you see a demon busy waggling the sword, and this whole piece of rock sort of tilting. A half-orc?
Question.
Mostly human.
Quarter orc, really.
Yeah. Yes, Adim.
Question. Does he have insight into what I am actually planning to accomplish by, making this landslide happen?
The person in the armor or Elian?
The person in the armor.
Oh, well, theoretically, he knows exactly what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing.
Okay. Well, just to clarify, I am planning to cast a landslide and on one bigger slab surf down while playing my bagpipes. And I was planning on grabbing the sword from Elion while he was standing and thrusting myself and the sword at the demon But I suppose now I'll have to
That's
pick it
all right.
up on the go.
I totally vouch for him. I mean, you see this playing out, it will be amazing.
I double vouch.
Yes.
Do you realize the chances of his success are very, very slim? One does not simply ride an avalanche.
I do know this, but his bravery should speak for itself, does it not?
And you would swear to hunt down this demon and destroy it.
To the ends of the earth.
Then, perhaps, as you do wield my blade,
I'm actually not that cool. That was just me lifting it.
This one? Like, wait. This blade?
then I will hold you to your promise. But you are not yet ready to participate in a battle with Demetos Artide. You will have to prove yourself worthy first before I grant you the opportunity to fulfill your promise. Is that understood?
What must I do?
You will have to keep your companions loyal to you. And you will have to learn how to use that blade. Do you think you can do that?
I can. Well, give or take.
Sure. I'm confident.
I will try very hard.
I think. Possibly.
Then I will bind you to that, mortal. But know this. If you fail, you will be forever damned to roam as an unfulfilled spirit, knowing that you have failed. Are you willing to risk that?
Then I must not fail.
Even though you're a druid, I like you. So be it. He waves his hand, and you go back into oblivion. Adim, give me a strength check as you're about to topple this whole thing over.
18.
18. The whole rock is about to start its inevitable crash into the crater, and you see the demon stepping up. It's about to place one of its hooves onto the lifeless body of Elion, when suddenly there's this blinding white flash, and the demon is no longer there. Neither is Elion. Then suddenly the rock in front of you vanishes as well. Grunch, you're busy running as fast as you can. You've now almost got to the statue of Uthar Pendaris.
Oh, come on! No!
Yes! Yes! Just below you, you can see the ship, and then suddenly there's this white flash. Well, perhaps. However, the scent of the sea and the dampness, yes?
Question. What happened? Does the captain see anything special?
Well, yeah, I'll come to the captain later. The scent of the sea and the aroma of mud is now so far removed from what assails your nostrils. It is this almost bakingly hot heat that has no scent whatsoever. It's just the scent of hot that now hits you. Adim, you land and start rolling as your feet give out from underneath you, but you're rolling down this sand dune with just spraying up dry sand in all directions. Elian, you wake up lying on your back with this sun directly over you, blazing down, and then suddenly Grunch runs past you. You are running in the base between in the dale between two large sand dunes. You almost step onto Elian in your run, Grunch.
I wipe the sand out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Grunch, where are you going?
Away!
What? We're not where we were. There's nowhere to go. Look
I
around.
know, you idiot!
All right, and that brings us to the end of that. Oh man! All right. Well,
Steven, did you really not realize what was going to happen until you mentioned that?
I truly did not. I
Okay.
thought for some reason that there was just like I thought there was something in the statue, but I thought it was just like another monster we would be fighting. So I was like, oh yeah, this sword's probably magic. I'll use it. And then I remember the story, and I put two and two together.
No!
That was
I
a fantastic game, though.
I honestly thought that you were doing it on purpose, just to
No,
to bring the story to a boiling point, right? Which is always pretty interesting. So that's what I absolutely was like, and that's like that's it. You're
Well-
like, oh shit, this is happening. I was like,
well, one of my personality traits is eager to experience new things and take chances. He is definitely a gambler,
You
Yeah.
experienced that. How does that feel?
and maybe I don't think a lot before I take those actions.
So
Yeah.
if I can, your 4% that you rolled, the
Yes.
way that gods work in my world, and I didn't explain it to you because I didn't necessarily anticipate that you were going to need it, is when a character calls upon their god or does something, I think it was maybe in the email to you, but you roll a percentile, and if you roll 1%, the god appears. But if you are an avatar of the god, or wielding, in this case, the weapon of the god, your percentage increases to 10%. So if you had rolled anything higher than 10%, you would have just died. And
Oh,
the game would have ended
nice.
with the demon winning. So your 4% allowed Brax to come in and interfere in the way that he did.
Sweet. That was
So that was
Brax?
luck. That was pure and simple
Cool.
luck. But anyway, there we are, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank
I
you.
hope you were entertained.
Thank you. That was phenomenal.
That was amazing.
Well,
That was a lot of fun.
I certainly had fun. I hope you guys did. Simon, thank you for joining us on short notice.
Absolutely.
And Stephen, thank you very much as well. Reginald, thank you, sir. And thanks to the viewers for watching. And I hope you learnt and saw just how far we deviated from the actual plan.